echoing real bad for you?
I mean, it sounds like. I mean, it sounds like it does sound like an echo.
It does. Okay.
Yeah, like it sounds like you're in the bathroom.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. It sounds clearer. It sounds clear. The other one sounds a little bit more muffled, but it sounds a little bit more toned down. Where this one sounds a little bit more echo, but it sounds clearer. Like I can hear you better.
Okay. Let me see.
You know what? Keep talking. Let's talk. I think this is okay.
I took one of the AirPods out. Does that sound any better?
Yeah, it sounds a little bit better.
Okay. Here, now I'm going to try this again. All right. Is it sounding different now?
It sounds a little bit more bassy, but I think it's okay. I think that'll work. I think that
it will. Okay, because I hear you perfectly.
Cool.
Let me see. Whoa, before I get too crazy with it. So what I was trying to do was it has like options of where the microphone can come out of. And so I have the speaker in my AirPods, but the microphone coming from the computer.
I got you.
And I put up a box right here, and I was hoping that was going to help with the echo.
I think it sounds better than last time.
Okay. I'm still doing all right. Man, my eyes look fucking crazy right now.
I'm actually really tired, but I'm excited.
Dude, me too. So what'd you think about the movies? Because this is like the first side by side where, I'd seen Us, but I hadn't seen Get Out, and so this is like both of us have not seen one of the movies. Yeah. So I was just wanting to kind of get what do you think?
All right, so okay, let's get a little intro going real quick. How's everyone doing? My name is CJ Robles.
And I'm Ben Garrett.
And welcome to Side by Side. Now, we're going to get straight to the meat on this because we have a lot of material to cover. Just to let everyone know, today we are doing 2 movies made by Jordan Peele. And I think I'm going to try to do this. I noticed that I want to add this, see how it works. We did hit one of his movies called Get Out. It is a young African-American visits his girlfriend's parents for the weekend, where his simmering uneasiness about their reception of him eventually reaches a boiling point. So that I wanted to kind of give like the little tagline to it. So
that's the IMDb synopsis. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like a quick little what we're filling in. And then
no spoilers.
Definitely. We do have spoilers on this. So if this is your first one, get ready for some spoilers. And then we did that was his 2017, and this is his 2019 movie, Us. This word's already going to screw me up on the IMDb one. A family serene beach vacation turns to chaos when their doppelgangers appear and begin to terrorize them.
Serene, you had it. That was, I think that's what you were looking for.
Yeah. So, right off the bat, I have not seen these movies. I didn't watch them in theater. I didn't know anything about them. I knew they were out. I'm happy that I'm very glad that I waited for them to like watch them like the way I did it for this, because I have just with Get Out alone, and that's what I was gonna say. We might have this might be our first 2-parter, because with just Get Out alone, I have 5 pages.
Oh wow!
Yeah, dude, I really broke this one down because I guess let's go straight into Get Out, because there's a lot that I guess it's very interesting for me to watch that movie.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you think about Get Out, because you, my friend, are in a interracial relationship.
Yes.
So go for it.
Yeah, man. So, okay. First off, before we start that, I think I'm getting that echo that you were talking about.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, like it's coming in from your end now. But regardless, here, let me.
Oh, like I have an echo now.
How does it sound? Does it sound?
You sound like you're underwater. Like.
Okay. Yeah. I'm okay.
We're just gonna go with this one.
I think this is clear. I think you know what it is. I think I'm getting used to it. Because I think you said you put a box. There's really no echo now. I think it sounds a lot like clearer now.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean you're sounding clear now too.
Cool.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
We're our own IT guys.
Yeah, man. So yeah, dude, this you kind of hit it on the head, dude. Like this kind of hits close to home. Um, yeah, just man, it's an eye opener for sure. Like me and her went and saw Us in theaters, and I was like, and I hadn't seen Get Out. I'd heard about it, but actually watching it and just seeing like the uneasiness, like, dude, like she's told me experiences like that before, where she said she doesn't necessarily feel too comfortable being around a whole bunch of white people, especially people that she doesn't know. I don't even think it's really white people. It's just people that she doesn't know. And just having that awkward, like staring, awkward conversation kind of, thing going on. And, I sort of understood it. Like I've been in situations like that to where you don't know anybody in the crowd. But I mean, to be fair, I'm kind of like a social butterfly.
Yeah, you're very talkative.
Yeah, and I can start the conversation fairly easily with anybody, and kind of get a feel for oh, what can I talk to this person about, and sometimes that's a little awkward on my end too. Like, you like Game of Thrones? No. What about The Office? No. Okay. Have you seen this movie? Yeah. Okay, cool. We can go down that route. So I have those things to kind of throw out, but yeah, dude, it was interesting. It was an interesting movie. It was very thought provoking, because like throughout the day, because I watched it this morning, and then when I went right into work, and probably for like the first hour or two at work, I was just like, the fuck, man.
Yeah, it leaves you with that.
It really does. It's just like, dude, and get right into the spoilers. I mean, at the very end, whenever you see those flashing lights, and that shouldn't, like in any other movie, like you see the cops show up and it's just like a relief.
Oh, well, yeah, we were talking about, yeah. Let's slow it down. Because that's that part I got to talk. That's just that part alone. Let's slow it down. Let's go straight.
Yeah.
Let's go. So just like from the beginning part of and the reason.
So
what's up?
Yeah, go for it. No. You continue that thought.
I'm at loss. What were you gonna say?
Sorry. I was just gonna say from the beginning, like you have that scene with, oh gosh, what's his name? It's like Lincoln. What's his name, man? What's funny is that guy in the first scene, he had a movie called Sorry to Bother You, and that was
Lakeith?
Yes, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lakeith Stanfield. That's where it is, dude. And so he had a movie called Sorry to Bother You, and I wanted to go see it. And that was around the time that I met Kenya. So that was our first date. That was our first movie we went and saw together.
Sorry to Bother You?
Sorry to Bother You.
That's cool. Yeah, I wanted to watch it, but I didn't get to. The one thing I did when I looked up Lakeith, the first thing I saw just popped up and said, born August 12, 1991. And I was like, God damn, how old am I? I was like, shit, this guy's young. 1991, yeah, I was in first grade.
He's younger than me. I know, dude. Like barely, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like it was that scene. Like, okay, so this past week it's getting to be Halloween, right? And so I watched Thriller, the Michael Jackson music video. And whenever I saw that opening scene, I was like, this, for some odd reason, man, this reminds me of Thriller. Like it just was like he's talking on the phone, just alone by himself, and you see what kind of car is that? It looked like a Porsche or
it's
something.
It's a Porsche, dude. I really like those. I think it's like a 78 Porsche.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, little hatchback.
But yeah, man. So you see him just like on the phone, and at first, dude, I thought he was talking to the Rose character. I thought that's who he was talking to, because he was like, "Hey, babe, I got it." And it wasn't until I was at work, man, and I was just like replaying the movie in my head, and I was like, that was her brother. It was like Jeremy is his name or something like that. Okay, yeah, that was Jeremy.
And, that's his car. Yeah.
Yes. And then you see that.
Yeah.
And you see that helmet too.
You know what? And also he what was the
choked him out.
The choked him out. He was trying to do the choke out.
Yeah.
So that just I didn't put that. But what was the helmet for?
I think just to. I think it was just to be anonymous.
But was he
Honestly,
wearing that helmet when he choked him out? I couldn't tell.
yeah,
Oh,
he
okay.
had something over his face, and then
Okay.
you also hear the Stephen Root character. He's like, "Well, Jeremy's way of wrangling is different."
Yes, that's
And
right.
dude, I just thought that was so fucking weird to say wrangling. You know, like
A lot of the words, yeah. Jordan
oh,
Peele, man, I haven't done any research on this movie. I just watched them, and I'm being lazy now. I'm letting you bring me the good stuff that I need to get into. But right off the bat, that I had to remember that this was a horror movie.
yeah,
I went in with high expectations. Hey, let's see what, and then I was like, oh wait, but that shot, that long shot it has. There's the I don't know who the videographer is. We'll look it up right now. But the way they shoot it, the way the direction he does, the shots that he holds, the long takes, I love it. I mean, he really sets it up for like he brings you to the jump scare. Like this is one thing
yeah,
I did really love about this movie was that it is a modern day horror and it feels like new. I've been stuck with the 80s and the early 90s, and then there's not really a few that I stuck with. Like I know Saw from 2000, but after that, there's not really a lot of horror franchise that I would really, I'm a Nightmare on Elm Street guy, but I was like these two, I was like, wow, man, this is something different. This is like a psychological, like, excuse my French, a mind fuck, man. Like these things really get like I didn't really go in there thinking like, oh, what am I gonna get? But when I started taking, I was like, oh, I had to pause a few parts. I did screw myself over because I did see the preview,
mm-hmm.
and in the preview it shows Andre, the Keith character. It shows, I mean, well, Andre's character. It shows him at the party, and when I saw him in the beginning, I don't know, I have pretty good memory, and I haven't seen the movie, but I registered him like, yeah, that's that guy. So maybe he's part of that. Like I kind of already started putting an idea in my head, and which was cool because I kind of just got a little bit ahead of the curve, not that much, but that opening scene, the way he talks. So this is why I have a big part right here where I have to put that I have to explain myself.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it down so to make sure I come across before I move on that because this is a movie right away. I felt like the racism that's built. There was a real big race part to this movie. I'm a minority and I don't play that card though, so I don't see It's weird to explain. I don't see myself like that. I don't ever see myself how someone sees. Like I just see myself as a person and then being from Texas, like I have that Texas damn pride in me. So I just kind of represent myself, like and that's why I'm big. Like I'm a huge Texan. Like just in general, that's where I'm from, Southwest Texas, and where I was raised, predominantly it's just Mexican. Like I got lucky because, and that's why I tell people about my hometown, Del Rio. We had an Air Force base there. And the Air Force base brings other cultures and other people, mostly people from like Nebraska and freaking Podunk, Oklahoma or whatever. And then those guys show up and they think they're better than everybody else, but whatever. But what I'm trying to say is you get to see a little bit of diversity. So we do have like different cultures amongst the border. Like it's like it wouldn't they wouldn't be down there for any other reason just for that base. But a lot of people, it's a retirement base, so it's either a training facility or this is back when I was there a kid, so I don't know what it is now. But when I was there, it was like a training facility or retirement. So you were getting people that were like 18, 19 to like 21, and they jumped all the way to like 40 or like 38 to people that were retiring. So it would be like they would retire and just move there, and then since the younger people were going to move on, they would just rent. So they got a lot of just integrating with the city, and it was a pretty cool thing to see. So when I see a lot of like race things, I don't know, they don't faze me, but there are stuff there. I fall under a different branch of color. I am not white and I am not black. I am and I for a long time thought I was brown, but apparently I'm olive skin, and I have to deal with something else. I have to deal with foreigners thinking that I'm from their country and they want me to go and do things for them. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm not. And I didn't get this I didn't think I knew about this here in Texas, especially in Austin, but it wasn't until when I lived in LA for that year. That's when I really felt it. When people were like fresh off the boat, like, this guy, I could get along with this guy. Come here, let's talk, friend. You're from where I'm from. Like, I'm not from your country, man. But like, just saying that, like, I get a little different of. So what I'm trying to say is, I have so many notes because I am a third party in this, so I get to see it as straight up as just a clean slate, as a filmmaker, as a writer, I get to just be in the moment. And that's one thing I did love about this movie. It hooked me. Like, not just this one, like this one really hooked me. This one got me bad. Like, I just stood there and I was like, what? I had to pause a few times just to write down my notes. But I mean, this is why I really want to explain it, because this is kind of a sensitive subject for some people. It is not a sensitive subject for me. I don't know. I was raised around a lot of different people, so I'm from a huge family, and it's kind of blended. It's really blended. So I don't really. I'm more about work ethic. It's where where I'm from, we look at your work ethic. If you're lazy, you know, we're gonna like beat you down. You know, it's not the other way. It doesn't matter your skin color. So that's that being said, when I watched this movie, I was just kind of like, man, this is it is kind of I like the actor. I like the main guy. I like the character Chris. It was played by I'm gonna mess up his last name, but his first name is Daniel Kaluuya.
That sounds good. I can go with that.
I think, yeah. Remember, I'm the butcher. You give me a name with too many vowels and too many consonants, I'm gonna chop it up. And I'm sorry. I was actually reading for a long time. I started reading the names out loud on the title. When they're coming on the title cards, I was reading them out loud. I was like, I gotta get better at this. But he does a great job. I like the way they captured him as just a regular guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like it's the way you look at me. Like, that's why I felt real comfortable with this character. I felt like, I mean, he's also like, he's a photographer. I do photography, but I take pictures, but I shoot video, and like, he kind of just wanders off and does his own little thing. Him as a character, the way he lived, the way he has his best friend. Like, I like having my friends there a little bit. Like, him and his connection with his best buddy. Like there's that minority conversation that there's like, it's kind of in here where that's what we do kind of stuff. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, we're kind of like, the friend, like, he tells him, like, don't do it. Like, throughout the whole movie, like, he's telling him, and at the very end, he tells him, like, what did I tell you? Like, it's like, it's funny because we're kind of like that, but he still goes with it. He goes with his better judgment. I really don't know where to begin with this, because it was such a great movie. And I like coming in with it, like, with my kind of view now, and my more of a mature mindset, and just really grasping the way people interact. And the way Rose, played by Allison Williams, she's beautiful, by the way, but the way she sells herself as man, I don't want to come off as rude, but like, as a woke kind of like, plays it a little bit like a woke white girl,
an ally almost.
Yeah, kind of like that, but she plays it really good. And I'm used to being around chameleons, or just people that are like, I'm not just used to it, but I've been around people like that, where you can kind of pick up that they're loose on the seams in a bit, but they're so well at it you can't see them. Where they're just kind of like she does a really good job. And then those photos you find, and you see her with the photos there, it's because you find out, in the spoiler, you find out that she's on it right away. Like, it's not like at the end where you find out like, oh, she because that's what I was thinking, that they were gonna wait till the end, but now you find out that she's in on it. And then the way she eats her deconstructed cereal. That's why she can't hear anything. She has the headphones, but the way she's like that kind of character, like, I was like, oh, she is kind of fucked in the head. Like, she's also, they're all a certain way, but the way she sells herself as just like laid back. She's never corny. She's real chill. Kind of has like a final girl presence to her, feel to her. She has it all. She's strong. She's beautiful. She's bold. But
to be fair, she almost made it.
Yeah, she did almost. Oh yeah, she at the very end. But it just shows you the way they interact. Like, it's not. I love the way he writes. Jordan Peele. It's very. I mean, he's half white, half black, and he's from, and him and Keenan from Michael Keegan from their show Key and Peele. He's also half white and half black. So it's kind of like we get to see their point of view from, or not his point, but they're always associated together. So a lot of their sketch comedy, they joke around both sides. And this one, it's not like a hard, like, it doesn't, what I'm trying to say is, it's not like a Spike Lee movie or that leans like on one race or the other. This is very in the middle. It teeter-totters because also, just the way you introduce the brother, man, you do get like, he's like the sloppy, spoiled, kind of well-traveled, but, drugged out brother, but he's kind of weird. Like, he doesn't a little
really wispy mustache kind of thing too.
I saw
just the way it looks, just like you can't trust him. Like, that's the first. I mean, yeah,
he does
just like.
Well, April walked in and saw him. She goes, "Ew, that guy looks ugly." And I go, "Well, babe, that's the point. He's supposed to look like shit. He's supposed to be a piece of shit." And then she walked out. But that was like, man, like the characters they use for this movie are amazing. The way they interact. What's his name? The guy from Billy Madison, Bradley.
Oh,
Whitford.
Bradley Whitford. Oh, dude.
His balls are funny looking. Dude, he does a good job. There's a shot where when Chris is walking back into the house, yeah, Billy Madison. He plays a good like he's in RoboCop. He's in RoboCop
Yeah.
too.
I'll be damned.
He's the guy that says when they're jumping off the building, they're jumping off the roofs. He's the guy that says, that's the pussy's way out. I'm a real man. Take a bullet to the head. And then he gets fired, and then he's all sad, and you just hear him shut the door, and he blows his brains out. He's also he's been in quite some movies. Billy Madison he's a really great.
The
That's the one. Stop looking at me, Swan. But the way there's a scene where when Chris is walking back in the house and he has like this smile, like he's like a friendly guy, but he's really like messed up. He's really a bad person. Like that trips me out, man. I don't want to say that he's like a good guy or like no, he's definitely a villain. But the way he sells himself,
I would say that he doesn't think of himself as a villain.
Yes, there you go.
He doesn't feel like he's doing anything wrong. If anything, he feels like he's elevating these people by giving them purpose or meaning or something of that sort. The wife, on the other hand, Catherine Keener, she never is really friendly. She is straight to the point. You know, she's I mean, hell, for a minute you think maybe she's just the only one that has something going on, you know? It may not be a family affair, but just her demeanor and everything, and that may just be coming with her being a psychiatrist, man. She just can't. Because she came into this family. This wasn't something that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
the dad,
the dad was.
Son. Yeah, passed on the son. And then we'll get to that point. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I definitely see when you meet them, like they're yuppies.
Yeah.
You know, they're like yuppies. They're very, very like the whole. I would have voted for Obama for a third time. Like that shit. It's like that's how it is. The conversations that people kind of because when I waited tables, I would hear this stuff and like really whatever. I'm just here to just get paid. So whatever. I'm not here to interact. And I would hear a lot of stuff. The conversations, I just be like, oh, I just block it out. But like stuff like that, like terms like that, like kind of like showing you that I'm progressive or like I'm really like,
saying stuff that you think people want to hear.
Yeah, like they let you know that I think like that too. Like we're on the same level, but it's like all right, whatever. Because there's that point where you're talking about hitting a deer, and then he goes like one down, like 1,000 to go, like. You feel like you could easily switch it, like to make it racist. Like that's that thin line, like.
I thought whenever they showed the stag, like, because you see that. Okay, so you had Lakeith's character, who you saw, he was turned, and then you see the grandma, and then the granddad. Those are the three. But then whenever you see all the pictures that she has, they're multiple. I was thinking whenever he said that, I was like, are they putting the black people's consciousness in deer? Like that was my first thought.
I didn't even think of that.
That's what I was thinking. It's like,
oh man, that you can turn it around, like, and that's why he says that, because it's like passive aggressive or like it's something hidden that he knows that we don't. Wow, yeah, that is true.
But I'm glad that didn't turn out to be the case. But
because then now that makes me think, because I do have here as a highlight when Chris is looking into, like, is he looking into Stag's eyes at death? Is it like death he's looking at? Is it the death's eyes he's looking at, or what is it? Like he's just staring at it, and like I'm like, what is this? What is that? And now that you're saying that, what if it is? But I don't think. Well, maybe it is. Maybe they're swapping them out because they do have a lot of those out there. And that's like their pride and joy, that Staggy has it right there in that room, just standing there. But I mean, I'm just wondering, what do you think when he was just staring at it? So now if it is another black person, he's looking at them in the eyes, he kind of connects with it, or I just think maybe it's an awareness that he's like, there's death around here. Like there's it's like a foreshadowing. Like you gotta be careful. It's kind of like in like the movies where the mass murderer would have like an old man come out and they'd be like, Your kids shouldn't be here. Like this is kind of like the first foreshadowing I have there. Yeah, and they're only dating for 5 months at that.
I know that's
That
another thing I was going to bring up. I
yeah, I was
wrote
like,
that down in my notes.
but that
And that's pretty fast from even meeting parents. Like 5 months, that's pretty damn fast.
all right. I'll give you this
Um,
much. When I got hurt when I was younger, we found this out back with John Favreau. But I'll tell you this: when I made a point that I was never gonna meet when I was in my 20s, I was never gonna meet family members. Like I just thought it's if you stop talking and I mean I'm friendly, I still would talk to the family members. I just want to keep adding to it. But you're right. At 5 months, I feel like it's depends if you know if you know what the relationship is. If you're wanting it to go more, then we go or what's up.
or even 5 months to a secluded area. If it was a public area,
Oh,
I feel like it wouldn't feel as awkward. But whenever you're going to somebody's house, that's pretty intimate, dude. I had an incident kind of like that whenever me and Kenya first started dating. We went to a party and it was mostly my friends, and it was awkward for her, man. She didn't know anybody. Um, it was sort of the same situation that Chris was in, and it didn't really even like I understood to a little bit, but man, movies really I feel can open up your eyes, especially if it has a really good message. And watching this and just how just like gut wrenchingly awkward and just all this stuff, man. It just kind of it shed new light on that experience.
it's just see that's what I'm saying. Like for you, like I could see that. Like I mean I'm from Texas, so I really don't like give a shit. Like if somebody kind of comes up with me with that angle, I kind of it. And it's also I don't really look like a stereotype. So to some people, it's like, what the hell is he like? We don't know where he's from, so I kind of like to play around a little bit. I could kind of be a chameleon whenever I want, and then I'm an
Like-
actor. So like I really
like whenever you and Zane first met, dude.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
whenever
what he did to me, he goes,
Yeah.
so what's up? What are you? I go, what are you? And because I'm the older guy, so I thought because he led with that. Like he was like, I don't know what the hell this guy is. So let me see what kind of brown he is. I'm like, we're both American. Come on, dude. And he goes, what are you? And I go, what? And he goes, I go, nah, dude. Soy Latino, soy Mexicano. What are you? ¿Y tú? He's like, oh, Pakistan, man. I was like, all right, cool. You're that side of the river. I got you. It's like, you flew here. We walk here. I get you, man. Like, it's like, but these are all stereotypes, whatever. We're having fun. This is what we do. We like to have cut loose because these are sensitive subjects. But I think if when you talk about them, it's more. I feel like it should be addressed as like, how can you learn from it, not like call somebody out or try to belittle someone or I just think learn to find a middle. I personally do not like being around any like predominantly any color or any race, anything. If I've been I don't mind it. I don't mind if I'm the only brown person and around white, black, or even Latinos. Like if it's I'm like, this is way too much for me. Like if it's like or even like it's to me I just feel like I'm also a person that doesn't like being around big groups. So if I'm around a lot of people, it doesn't matter if they're all mixed. I'm just kind of like, I'm already uneasy. So I'm already on like, it's not a good thing for me. So when I go around places like that, I never I never go in with that idea. I kind of like, that's why I get along with you too. Like people that are just direct with me, where they don't feel like they have to, like, they just tell me like, hey man, what's up? And that's why like Zane, that was a really good thing he did, dude. It really like sets the play. Like I know I'm like, I mean, I could go far with this kid. Like he's only 18 and I'm 34. I think when I met him, so I was like, yeah, I could really this kid let me play with him if you like that, like joke wise, like he'll go, yeah, I like just thought about that. I was like joke wise, he'll let me he'll joke around because people get in these improv classes or stand up classes, like people are very shy and scared, and you can really get a check on somebody right from the beginning just when you just kind of hear the way they are and you're like, oh shit, this guy speaks my language, or I understand where he's from, or I get why she's like this. Okay, I'll go there. I'll meet you there. Like I have that kind of awareness. So to watch something like this, it's just I like the writing. You can feel the difference when you see Andre in the beginning, and then when he's Mr. Logan King. That threw me off for a minute. I kind of got it at the end, why it was like that, but it took me a minute. The answer to the twist or the is right. It's really obvious, and they just give it to you. So there wasn't like any shocker. This is just also a good ride, like a good story just to go on. But the fact that the the race is there, but it's not. I don't know what did she say that her dad keeps saying? Word up, or what she never said? He never says, or my
What's
man.
up, man? Or my man? Yeah,
My
that's
man.
what it
Yeah,
is.
so that's like that's like a thing that I guess girls go through with their dads, or guys go through with when they're older with their parents. Their parents try to connect with youth, I guess, and they just don't know how. But it also comes off kind of awkward when it's like a different race. I don't know. I do have a lot like, let's see, yeah, the the white family with the black workers. Oh, I wrote that, and then I wrote that first, and then they bring it up, and they bring it right up. So it's not like you had to like. So that got shut down right away. Oh, just the thing about the mother. I right away my big thing with Missy. My thing is with her is she is a mastermind. I don't either Rose told her or she figured out that Chris was a smoker, and that's kind of how it kind of leads to him break. And I like that he is a smoker in the story because he breaks off to where he needs to go into something else, so he doesn't just stay in the same spot. He moves around a lot. The party where they're all together and they're meeting him, like the. Oh wait, no! Before I go that, I wanted to talk about Georgina.
You know,
What's up with the smile? But I think I figured out. You figure it out. Well, now we're talking about it, and I know who Georgina is in the movie. Now I know why she's doing the smiles, and she's like, it's joy because that little percentage of the brain that is her is happy that she's seeing that's another guy, and there's a chance that she might be able to get out, or there's a way. What does the flashing light mean to you?
so I was thinking about that earlier, and so what is it? Is it like a Native American culture or something like that? If you take a picture of somebody, it's like you steal their soul.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Maybe had reference to. Whereas you take that soul because I don't. Let's see. Whenever it happened to Logan, who was it? Missy had to go back and lull him back into it. So possibly, or maybe like the soul switch or something like that, because you have two people in one body. And I think it was more along the lines of like the camera, more or less than the actual flash. I could be wrong though. I don't know, but that was kind of what I was. That was kind of what I was leaning towards.
Do you think at that point Andre took complete control over, or just enough just to warn Chris, or do you think
complete control? Because at the end you see, what was it? The granddad. Whenever he flashes the light in his face, I mean,
so the granddad.
Okay, I think that he's well, it may not be complete control, but at least you may be right. It may be controlled long enough because he turns around, shoots her, and then ends like he's.
So for my thing is that it both ways works out, and that's why it's very confusing. It's it's kind of ambiguous, but it's not ambiguous. If it is the Walter, the grandpa, then I feel like he does the noble thing and kills the granddaughter and shoots himself. Now it could also be who's the actual, or just as Walter, but Marcus Anderson is the actor. But if it is actually just the black guy, or the Marcus himself, whatever it was, that's his.
We'll say Marcus just
for this, yeah. Whatever. Let's say it's actually him, and so he shoots her because she did that to him, and then he's all messed up, so he's like, well, I might as well shoot myself. Or it could also be that it is Marcus at first, and then he turns back into Walter, and then Walter just kills himself to the noble thing. So there's many ways. The equation is always like good. I don't see. I could go either or. It could be Walter the whole time. It could be the other guy the original personality the whole time. 50-50. I don't see an issue with that. I don't know. Like it's covered so well. I'm like, okay, I get it. But it is that I knew that was gonna happen. Like I saw that happening because as soon as she said grandma, it clicked on me, and I was like, that means Walter's the grandpa. That's what that
Yeah.
means. And what they're basically doing is because there's the part with the dad. He says he's a neurosurgeon, and it doesn't even click in my head that he can do that shit. You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't at one part think like, oh, he can go in there and he can actually do surgery, brain surgery, and he knows what he's doing. The very he was calm the whole time with the incident with meeting all the sorry my like with Chris. He's very calm during the parts that things should be like crazy. He's still calm until the very end when he wants the keys, and that's when it shows you his emotional or his character shift. But he's very calm throughout the whole part, even when Logan kind of or Andre attacks him. I have here the mom conversation. Like she does go straight personal into that, like right away,
Yeah.
and like she breaks him down and then literally drops him down. Like that to me, that's kind of I've had those. I've only had like one conversation like that before. I mean, I've had them with my friends' moms, but it's like she's like real abrasive. Like I don't know, the red flag would have popped up right away, but she hypnotizes him unwillingly, right? He doesn't really give into it. Like she just keeps doing it. Like
Yeah.
yeah, that's how she does it.
Well, and now that you're talking about that, like, and then his conversation with Walter the next day, like, why would Walter put that in his head that he was in there for a long time whenever he thought it was just a dream? Like, do you think that's the other personality kind of inching its way out? Like,
Man,
you
it's
think
hard.
it's trying, like you said, man,
The dialogue is 50-50, man. Like it could be anything. It could be Walter, it could be the young guy. It's weird. Like you're right. You don't know who it is because Walter's in control. And that's what and then I love the Steven. I mean, when I saw Steven Root's name was on there, I was like, hell yeah, he's in this.
Mhm.
And then when I saw that he really explains everything there, I'll be in the phases when he's telling them right before surgery, he even says like phase 3, I take over. You're just there, the pilot. You're just watching everything, but you can't do anything. God, that'd be crazy as shit, man.
Yeah.
Especially if
You
like
know what? You know what got me though, man? It took me back to Jeepers Creepers, man. It's like I just want your eyes. I just want those things that you see through.
the peepers,
And
yeah, connection.
but that's one thing that I just kind of clicked for me. Yeah, man. With the whole Stephen Root character, at first, whenever I first met him, I was like, okay, this is the first normal person out of the entire party, and familiar with his work. So obviously he was maybe not a renowned artist, but he had art out there. Like it wasn't just around his apartment and stuff like that. Which makes sense because whenever you see Rose like looking up her next target, it's like she's looking for that. Like
The NCAA, yeah, like she's
Yeah.
that athlete, yeah. So the Stephen Root, what's his name in the movie? I forgot already. What was his name?
Let's see here.
Jim Hudson. When when Chris is talking to Jim, you do get the sense that he's just kind of not into that, and you don't even know what they called. Did they call it a family gathering? Is that what they had called I think that they called
a party.
Party, yeah. Like
it's like your grandfather had this party every year on the same date.
And I was wondering because he's sitting there and he's talking to them. He's talking to him, so he's telling him. And I until like we start talking about it, I didn't think like he has a like a profile on him.
Yeah.
So he's basically the target. So they go into like it's like a business in my sense. Like even the way they sell it, like they sell it to the person they're gonna take over, like just to give them because he said, what do you see? Steve Root's character, Jim, what's he sell Chris? That it's better for us to connect. On this, so he's like, I'm about to take over you. I'm an old man about to take your young body over, and I need you to just be cool with it. Like it's like no way, man. Like it's kind of a, I don't know. There's a lot to this movie, especially with that scene where Andre kind of does flip out, or Logan King, because the way he talks, he sounds like a scholar and a gentleman and very southern, and it's he. I mean, I don't know. I was kind of going through my notes, but I just don't care. Like I have so much. We could talk about this movie is very, very deep on so many. And the more we're just dissecting it, I'm really finding out that the dialogue, it's like it goes both ways. It helps out. It's just good for the story. But also I just got to say, like being I guess the token colored person or the minority at like a white people gathering a shindig, a hootenanny, whatever you want to call it. Like to me, when watching their point of view, like I'm like, nah, it's completely different for myself, and if for like a black person going to like an event like that, it's because I you could still kind of like I don't know, I don't. It's like stupid questions like that, like the black is the fashion is in like those kind of like they don't I don't know what the fuck goes on. I think it's just old people too, older people, but like I don't know, like I do feel like they expect you to know a certain thing, or people expect you to know certain things, like just by skin your color or where you're from or something. Like I don't know, to me like I'd never really had to deal with that.
Yeah.
So I can, like I said, to an extent, I'm a third wheel on this, and I mean we have our own, like I could totally relate to the like minority part of this because like, we have our own kind of like version of everything. Everybody has their own thing. So with well, like I like to say, like the way the best friend, the way he answers the phone at work. You at work? Yeah, whatever. You know, it's like, you know, it's like I'm like, I do that. I did that when back in the day. But you know, it's like the way they have their conversation, and it's very similar. Like what I'm trying to say is like the dialogue never switches. It's never a stereotype of one or the other. You get kind of a southern charm people, but that's about it. Like you don't really feel like they're from two different parts of the country or two different parts of the world. You feel like they're it's just like, oh, you're from the city, like you're not too far from. So these people are out in the country and they're going into the city, grabbing these kids and then bringing them back over here. And now you're saying they're turning them into stags, and there's thousands of them. So they've been doing this for a while. What was I gonna say? That's right, because oh man, the grandma, he does talk to her. He talks to her about the snitch, and that's why she's the grandma, a tattletale. You know,
Yeah.
like that's I was like, what is that? And it goes,
A rat. He even says a rat too. He's like,
yeah, rat,
rat you out.
rat you out, and like that. And then right before that, they have the friend calls him, and he does the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Like I know kind of my murderers, and yeah, he was saying it pretty bright. He's like, it's hard to explain. I was like, no, I get you. Like I know the story. He's like, but even like that, like this whole time, the friend is just the I don't even want to say the voice of reason.
No, he is. He really is. I mean, he's the one who is. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think he really picked up on Rose being fake. I think that she was a good enough, she was a good enough actor to where she even passed it by him. But he's still okay. Here's another thing too. So I think with Chris, he mentions that he didn't really have his parents growing up, so he doesn't have that guidance of like this. You don't do this. You don't get into those. You don't put yourself in those situations where you can be manipulated, where you can be hurt. You make sure you are aware of your surroundings. You watch your back essentially. Yeah. Whereas he goes into this very trusting. I mean, he has his reservations about it. I mean, he's like, do your parents know that I'm black? And he wants to, he does have that to where he doesn't want to get himself into a situation where he's, going to be, taken advantage of. And so, but I think it possibly could come back to, he just didn't have that kind of upbringing where you have somebody guiding you,
No, protecting you, at least giving you a little bit of where, like, hey, be careful for this. You're right. I kind of grew up a little bit like that, so it's like you understand. Well, a lot of it like that, but you understand. And the Rod Williams is the best friend in the movie, but played by Lil Real Howery. Howery? I can't even say his name, man. I'm gonna
let's see here.
Lil Real Howery.
Lil Real Howery.
Lil Real Howery.
I think I so at the very because I rented it on Amazon. At the very end, they have an alternate ending. And it was the original ending that Jordan Peele was going to go with, where it wasn't. And he says his name. I think that's the only reason I know how to pronounce it. But he says that it wasn't going to be Rel that came out there and got him. It was going to be the cops, and he ends up getting arrested and goes to jail and goes to prison.
Dude, okay. So this movie already had me hooked at that point. Let's just knuckle through this real quick. So basically, after they do the party, real quick, explain to me why do they get quiet and look upstairs? What happens?
Whenever he gets quiet. So my best guess is, man, they're just they're. So that's whenever he goes upstairs and figures out that his phone's been unplugged, right?
Yeah.
It could just be like that awkward silence, man. Just like everybody in the room is turning to you. That was my thought.
I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what it means. Like, why did I get a quiet? I thought it was just kind of they were all programmed together. That was kind of threw me off. Like, they're all systematically connected, and then they all kind of just look up, and I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, why are they?
They're all just trying to follow. They're all just trying to follow him. I mean, that is their prize. I mean, they're all ears and all eyes for him because that party is an auction.
Yeah.
That is what it is. It's like you're getting to see what you're about to buy.
So yeah, basically,
so they're on their toes, seeing what's about to happen.
Because even Rod says it, man. They got you on display, and it does feel like that. I've been in that situation, and it does feel like that. That like you're just there just for like the part that they just want to show you're there, or so look. So that's he gets it in other ways. It doesn't necessarily get that way that he's like the twisting ending, but he understands that there's something there like that. There's some foul play, and he's just telling him the whole time. I mean, it's kind of funny. He's telling him everything not to do, and he still does it. And you're right. He needs like that voice of reason.
And he guesses most of what's going on.
He's like, he's got to click.
Turning you into slaves. I'm sex slaves. But.
Yeah.
and you know what's funny too is like he was the the comic relief that little bit, which kind of going back to the whole Key and Peele sketches, man. Like a lot of them ended with like a dark turn or a very weird turn. Whereas it was comedy in the beginning, and then with this one, it's almost like you get those little bits of comedy mixed in with this really strange and strange adventure. I think
it's experience for sure. I think it's I don't know if he's meant to be hilarious or funny. Like it's just his performance. He does a real good job at selling like the best friend, and that's cool because like he really does like how a best friend really should be. Because even when Rose turns on him, you want to fuck me, and she goes like just to get him over there, and he's like, no, what? No, like.
And then he hangs up. It's like she's terrible. She's horrible. She's a genius.
She's
like,
a genius, yeah.
Even that you may be right, man. Like he plays it off so well, and just like without meaning to be funny, he just is.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. I think he just sells that character. He brings a little extra level to it. I like the way he says the Logan King is like he's showing that what the like Chris is the before and Logan's the after, and how you can get him. So, and that's why he says he's with somebody 30 years older, and that's why, because it's an older man. He's supposed to be an older man, and she's supposed. And they also say I caught on this on both. They say the title "Get Out." He says "Get Out," so Jordan Peele really lays it in there. So I started looking at this and wondering, because I put here that he does that Chris uses educated answers. What was the bingo thing about?
Like, why were they using bingo cards instead of like auction cards and stuff like that?
Yeah.
All the different symbols and why. I mean, my best guess is if Chris ended up walking in on him, they could just be like, oh, bingo. And that's another reason why I think it was silent too, is so, because what was Chris doing during that time? And is that whenever he was trying to get his phone plugged in and wasn't he talking to,
he was talking on the phone
to Rod? Yeah. So that would be my best guess, is that they have, it's almost like a cover. Like it's
well, it was his funeral too, or something like that. There's a picture of Chris there, like they're doing like a funeral, like. You remember?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it technically is. I mean, this is his last go round as far as they're concerned. I mean, this is the last time Chris is going to be Chris. The next time you see him, he's supposed to be somebody else, whoever is the highest bidder.
Hudson. No, I think it was Jim Hudson, because he does the surgery. He does the whole. He's going to go through with it.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't think it's an auctioneer. I think they know they're going to get him. I think they know Jim Hudson is going to get that guy. I think those are just like You think it's an auctioneer?
Yeah. Oh, it's an auction all day.
Okay, okay, that's what the bingo is then. That's the auction.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We figured it
Yeah.
out. There you go.
And yeah, like it's those are the bingo is their auction card.
Yeah.
But like I said, if it's their cover, so if he stumbles upon them, then they can just this is bingo, and that's why you don't have Bradley Whitford or oh gosh, what's his name? Dean. You don't have Dean out there just like, all right, I got 25 here. He's doing like numbers. He's like, then he's
look at us, detectives figuring it out. Look at that. I did write down, hey, check it out. There's an Asian guy in here. And then he talks about what is your experience about being African American and it's like, why I wrote the next thing I wrote, why even bring that up? Like, what's the point? Like, but that's just, I feel like that's this old people thing, or I don't know. Just
I thought that was interesting too.
Like, what?
I thought that, but why? It was almost. I don't even know if it was there to throw you off, but like.
Maybe is he was he white? A white guy in there in the Asian body? An old white guy? Maybe.
I didn't even think of that.
Maybe
very well could be, but I mean, that would track, but that means that they were using, or because he's older, so you would think that if that was the case, then he was already.
No, I think I caught on. I think because he's a minority. So he's asking another minority, hey, well, how is it? I don't want it to be Asian. How is it to be black? Like that's kind of like his, like African American. I think that's where he's kind of getting maybe that. I don't know.
But I mean, you could also see him as like a, because you feel like it's a wealth thing too. Yeah. It's not necessarily just the because they say it's like an order or something of that sort. So yeah, I was kind of thinking about that too. I was like, huh. Like you do have that Asian guy in there. Either that or they were because it wasn't until Dean started this that they were actually doing the different consciousness, stuff like that. So,
I basically think that Rod uses as just kind of movie, or also Chris movie kind of little genre to kind of help him survive, like just kind of. I wrote that. I forgot why I wrote this down. I wrote, because you put yourself in the eyes wide shut situation. Yeah. So he's talking. They're using movie references to help him out, like to understand what's going on. Okay, who cracked the door? Who cracked the little door? Was it Rose or Georgina? Was it Rose showing him what's gonna happen because she's like, already this is the end of the story, or was it Georgina that was like trying to help out Because when you start seeing the photos, it throws you off that Rose, she goes the distance, like she went lesbian or had a girlfriend, and that's Georgina. They had to do.
See, and I was wondering about that too, whether she was just an actual friend that came out, or if she was lesbian. You think it is?
Yeah, I think Rose turned gay or whatever to get lure her and then bring her in there. And then make her, I think that's what she did. But now that I'm thinking about it, because I got more shocked, it's not shocked, but more stuck on the fact that there was the dudes that she was picking. Like, I like the pictures. Like, they're like some guys were hardcore, some guys were thug, some guys were like, there was like different types of just like people when they're all black, but going through the people like guys. And then, so I didn't even think there were a lot of them. Like, there were a lot of people.
And you only see 3. Well, actually, you only see 2 that she picked up.
Yeah.
And so, and then whenever what Chris says, I think he's jealous. Like, I think he likes you and stuff like that about Walter. Yeah. Whenever it's, he's out there chopping the wood and he's talking about Rose, like, oh, that's a good catch, huh? Keep her. So, like I said, you said, the dialogue kind of goes 50-50. Like, is that her grandpa? Like, and it's such a fake ass smile too. Yeah, so I feel like I feel like that's her grandpa talking, and he's just trying not to give himself away.
What did he say about the running? I didn't catch him. He apologizes, but I didn't pick up on that. He says, "I'm sorry if I scared you," but what's the running thing about?
Okay, so remember when Dean was talking about his dad was trying to qualify for the Olympics and Jesse Owens.
That's right.
So, and I think that is why also they choose black people.
Well,
I think that he has that stigma that this person's better than me physically. This person is physically better than me. So what if I put my intelligent brain into this,
gotcha. I know where you're going.
stuff like that. And that also got me thinking because, and just one thing that crossed my mind, they said they mentioned like Hitler at the Olympics and Jesse Owens, winning the Olympics in front of Hitler and all this other stuff, and was it 1936 or something of the sort. And it just kind of got me thinking about World War II and all that, where you have black people going off to war and fighting, and that was in what, 42?
Yeah.
And so you have them going and dying for this country that treats them less than human. And then for another 2 decades, you have Jim Crow laws that just degrade and do all this stuff. And then, but Hitler's bad. Hitler and his eugenics are the worst thing in the world, and the atrocities that happened to the Jewish people, and they are terrible, but you were so blinded by, you can't see the bad that you're doing, but you can see it everywhere else. And I feel like that's still prevalent today, man. Like, it just, you especially with the way history is taught, like, so spoiler alert on another show, Watchmen. Have you seen that?
The movie?
The show, the TV show that's on HBO. So the first episode, actually, I think it's the first scene. It's set in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And you just see these guys coming in and dragging black people by horses, and you hear these bombs and everything going off. And it's savage, man. You just go through this whole event, and then it starts up in the show, and they start talking about Black Wall Street and everything like that. And I was talking to somebody, and I was like, yeah, I mean, that was terrible. And they were like, that actually happened. Black Wall Street was a real thing in 1921. It was the most.
It's almost 100 years ago. 99.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it was like the most. It was the most profitable black area, and so they just went in and wiped it out in Tulsa, just completely demolished it, like all this other stuff. And to think that I thought that was just like a part in a TV show, and that was actual history that I hadn't been taught, just kind of broke my heart a little bit. Like, I just feel like the injustice really is there, to where we can talk about the Holocaust, and we can talk about all this other stuff that was horrible across the world, but we can't deal with our own demons. And I think that's what a lot of what Get Out is about. It's just like trying to deal with those demons. And, you see it kind of bubbling to the surface. You see the underlying messages. You see all these subtle things that you just kind of get away with every day,
I mean, a little bit more specific. I kind of
a little bit more specific. Okay, so let's see here.
I mean, I guess I'm just saying, like, everyday thing, like, just, I guess you're talking about just like simple, like, driving and stuff, or like just going to work, or are you being like?
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess just like subtle racism. I mean, where you just. I'm trying to think of a good example.
But I don't think with racism there are no good examples.
No. Thank you.
Because I do have it here. And I love that I went straight like film kid into this. Not anything else. I didn't use any. I just went straight into it. He's giving him the home tour, and he tells him, you want to experience, someone else's culture. Like, yeah. So regardless whether he's white or whatever he is, he's trapped as that neuroscience because his father brought, and you brought it to me. Now I'm thinking about it more. He brought him into that. So all he knows is that, and he wants to go into something else. He wants to see what else, but this is the way he's doing it. And the Jesse Owens, that comparison, like that that brings a circle. Like it's a little mini circle that keeps bringing. Like you think about like the body, like he almost beat him, but because he's black, he beat him. Like that's what they're going with it, and
Yeah.
they do have that. I have a little note here where it says I guess white people really want to be black because it's like it's always funny the way some people like white people want to be black people want to be white, dark people want to be light skinned. It's always opposite. Like
Yeah.
I'm 36 and I've seen this shit all my life, and I just realized that like it's always people always want the opposite.
Yeah.
When I was younger and I was like really really dark, I was a lot darker because I was always outside. I took a it was a English lit class, world lit class, and we're reading a book about the Aborigines,
Hmm.
and that's a like tribal people that the Australians dealt
Yeah.
with. They're dark pigmented. I don't even know what to call them black. I don't know what we call them, but they're indigenous from that area. But they always have like that whole thing that if an Australian person were to mate with the pygmy kid, that they would have to bring the kid back to Australia and try to mate the pygmy out of him. Or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say pygmy. What's they were
Aborigine.
Aborigine. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Aborigine.
Aborigine, and they I don't know why I said that. I guess it's just attached with those words. And they would try to breed it out. And in the class at the time, I didn't even realize I was the darkest guy in the class. And I was such a smart ass that they tried to prove a point with me, and I turned it on them so quick that the point was lost. But I knew what they were trying to go with. The professor, she was trying to go with. She goes, so they're saying in this book here, let's take a moment to think, because that's literature class, you read it. And she goes, let's take a moment to think. They're saying here that the white skinned people are better than the dark skinned people. Let's look in this class. Oh, well, sorry, CJ, you're the only dark person in here. Do you feel like do you feel like you're less than us, or do you feel like you're more than us, or where do you? I go, I don't think like that. It was like it wasn't supposed to be like me myself, but just me and kind of what I thought about the time in the book. Like kind of like what I was thinking about how would I deal with it, because I was the minority. And then this is in a class full of like all races, like Latino and Hispanic, Black, and whatnot. It's a college class, and I just said, well, I don't know. I don't really think it matters, because all I know is I see like white girls trying to get tans and dark chicks trying to get blonde hair. So I don't really think it matters to me what color I am. If I know I'm not going to spend $200 on that, I'll just save my money and move on. And then they're just like, damn, I can't really, because I was like, it doesn't matter. It just seems like you're trying to. I go, oh, that they said something like white people were trying to be. Were better than, like light skinned people were better. That's what they said. Light, not dark, white or black. But they said light skinned people were better than dark skinned people. Then I said, well, quit inventing tanning beds and quit being outside and quit doing that. Quit trying to be like me, and I'll stay inside. And apparently I got lighter, so I guess I was right. And they said, like I said, and then I turned it in my worker mentality. And I want you to go outside, and you're not built for this. I want you to go pick all those food and go outside and go do labor jobs, like the migrant workers. They're like, calm down. I was like, all right, just let you know, like. And I kind of put that point, like you might think that, but but even at that point, my professor was like, well, you proved this wrong, like, didn't he? I was like, well, yeah, but I thought, they're attacking me. So my awareness, my spidey sense went up, but it wasn't like I felt attacked. It was to prove a point. And also I was able to prove, like, to rebuttal a point. So I always thought, I look at that and I see like, well, in a world when I do practice my stand up and I do write my jokes, one of my jokes is like, there's people people got to understand that, being a minority amongst minorities is tough. Like, it's tough because it's like, because you don't play into the world that they want you to in the narration, and you're just kind of floating here and you're like, hey guys, what's up? I speak another language, but predominantly English. What do you want to talk? It's like I can talk to anybody. I can hang out with anywhere. I don't have an issue talking to anybody. Even when, like, I liked when you went with like movie references and show references, even when I don't have anything and I meet somebody, oh, you're not a movie person. You watch sports? Oh, I hate sports. Oh, and then I just start fighting, and I just find like, there's nothing good about you. Well, that's good. So now I can educate you. And they're like, leave me alone, like a coworker. like, if I gotta spend 8 hours with you, I'm gonna talk to your ass. Like, so
Yeah.
And,
Well, dude, I had a coworker recently. I mean, he has to be my age or maybe a little bit younger, right? And so I was like, have you seen this movie? No. And it was like, because it was like Step Brothers and like Talladega Nights and like and stuff that most people know. And it wasn't until recently, man, there's a guy at work, he was talking about that new Haunting on Hill House or the Bly Manor show on Netflix. And he said something about it. And Caleb, he doesn't talk a whole lot, so he just kind of came up to me. He's like, "That's not the English version. That's the second season." And I was like, "I know that. I knew that. I was just letting him go." So after that, I was like, "Have you seen this TV show?" Because obviously movies weren't clicking for him. So, and then I was like, "Oh, have you seen Watchmen?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I watched Watchmen." And it's like, "Oh, what do you think about Lovecraft Country?" Because I saw like one episode of that whenever it first came out, and then I haven't jumped back into it, but. I enjoy those shows, man. I enjoy shows that and movies too that make you think and get you outside of your comfort zone too. I think that's really important. Really important for to get different perspectives because you know these aren't. I wouldn't even classify these as like black movies or specifically for black people,
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah,
And
I would totally.
They're
just movies, man. Like
they're
these
just
are straight
movies,
up
man.
movies, and I didn't because okay. And I started thinking about this. I was like, I don't like because man, this is such a like a weird topic sometimes these days. I feel like anything you say could be turned on you, and you don't mean to. But like I've seen French movies, I've seen independent movies, I've seen movies by all types of people. So and I'm like I said, I'm raised in that Latino part of family where all the pigmentations in your family are there. So I got the white and the dark. So I got like that. Like I'm the middle color. So it's like when the white guy and the dark guy team up to beat you up, and you're like, oh, I hate both of them. And they're like, well, they're family. You're not going anywhere. And you hear that, and you're like, oh shit. And so I got to put up with these guys all my life. All right. It's like you learn that you're like they're family still, but you learn that it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. Like the color is just what. Like I feel like people get stuck on that, and I'm like, that's dumb. Like I think that's like first when your brain starts processing things, like that's the primitive thing it goes. So you need to get past that to learn more. But I feel people just it's a comfort zone, or I don't know what it is, but man, I'm kind of like I thought about it a little too much now. I'm out of the subject, but it's just I think getting to know other people's cultures is also just by just being around it. And you just got to be exposed to it. And if sometimes the cultures don't want you around, you got to earn it. Some people don't want you around. They don't want you around. It's what it is. Like you got to learn to play their game. And once you learn to play their game, see if it's worth it, see if it's worth changing, see if it's worth adapting. Some games I don't like playing, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this one, but religion, I don't play the religion game like at all. Like you can't call me anything. Like I don't care enough to be like, oh, he's agnostic, oh, he's atheist, oh, like, oh, he's Christian, oh, he's bad, oh, he's Catholic. I'm none of that. Like I know it's out there. I'm not gonna waste my time with it. I'm not gonna waste my time talking about it. I don't. It was explained to me that some people have in their head that they need a higher power. Then okay, go for it. I have my views, but it's just like things you don't talk about, but I feel like it's okay to talk about them if you want to, but it's a choice. And like I love the fact that he did really put out what it feels to be around a black person around white people like that, because who the fuck leads like that? And he's not. It would be one thing if he was just a black guy writing it, but he's mixed. So I'm not gonna forget that he is half white. I don't know how he was raised. I don't know if he was raised on both sides. I don't know if he was in a blended family. I don't really know a lot about Jordan Peele, but I'll say like. The way he comes across, it's just a great writing. It's beautiful writing. It's poetry. It's amazing the way he just gets the dialogue out, and it works in the scenes. Like you can tell he's been doing this for a while. Like I hope to in like 10 years from now to be close to that. Like where he just kind of I think he's doing enough and reading enough scripts, understanding story. That he just knows how to weave them together. Because it's a Jordan Peele film when you see that and you're like, okay, that's awesome. Like that's already like a seal of approval. With me, if I see that. Like it's just like M. Night Shyamalan now. Like when I see that, I'm going that route. Like okay, even the M. Night, his first 3 films got me. Even Signs, I was hooked. I'm not gonna lie, Signs got me. I remember watching it with my best friend. We're watching Signs and we look at each other like they're not gonna show the alien. You think they're gonna? They're not gonna show the alien. And then the alien walks by, we're like oh, we both like panicked. They showed it, but when you see it now, the alien looks stupid. Like the first little glimpse, but we didn't see anything like that before, and we were younger and it's the movie hooks you, and this movie hooks you too.
But that's the beauty of those kind of scares and that kind of build up too. Is like you don't care what it looks like. You already have that fear. You already have that attachment to it. That.
Yeah.
This is something ominous kind of feeling. So hell, that I agree. I think it looks a little campy now, but it still has that same. You still have that same nervousness
Yeah.
watching it, you know. And Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson do a great job at selling that too.
He does a little brother.
Um,
He's a good little brother.
yeah.
Um, I'll I'll point this out real quick. April also made a good point because for everyone listening, I am also connected to the white culture, but we're Southern, we're country, we're different. We're not that other. She goes, that's rich white people. That's but she also said that's rich anything, and I'm like, because she
Yeah.
was kind of watching the movie with me, and she's like, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. That is true. That is like this yuppiness that I think that everybody kind of forgets about. Like we all have, everybody has their version of everything, and that is kind of like, feel like any culture, anybody go to South America, you probably see their millionaires acting the same way,
Oh
billionaires,
yeah.
or yeah, you go to Europe, you get there, or go to Africa, you got the same. It's the same same shit, different smell.
Yep.
The PTSD from his mother, that messed with me too, man. Like because he had to go pick up the grandmother, and that in essence, but that helped him out because he got to kill Rose at that, and he kind of had to get messed up. That. Oh, real quick before I forget, the brother, we'll give him a shout out. I remember his name, his face from somewhere. He was Caleb Landry Jones. He plays Jeremy in this. He was actually Banshee in the X-Men movie, the First Class. That's why I remember his.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes, he was. And then I watched a movie called Three Billboards Outside of. I can't remember.
Yeah,
the name.
that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in that too, and he played a really good role in that. Very.
Three
Yeah, I like
billboards
him a lot.
outside some
Something
yeah.
Missouri. Yeah,
Yeah.
some Missouri town.
Let's do it. Three billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
There it is. Thank you.
8.2. Well, I'll give you a shout out there. Again, I'm not gonna do you wrong, but no, he talks about the MMA thing, but also what do I have here? Oh, so he gets hit in the head, and there's a point there where you gotta kill him. But Chris, like he's genuine, and he doesn't want to. He has to hit him. They already messed with you.
I thought, dude, honestly, the way he was bleeding out of his head, I was like, oh, if I saw somebody bleeding that much out of their head, I would think they were dead. I have no idea how much blood is in the head, but that looked like a lot.
Put it this way, knowing my movie knowledge and my limited ability to actually maybe, I don't know, survive. But if I was now pre-Sun, I would kind of just see the blood and go and be like, but now that I have post-Sun, I'm like, no, I got to make sure you're dead. So I would have curb stopped. Because that's why I said, is that like a curb stomp? Did he get him? Did Chris get him in the? He just stomps on his head twice. I'm like, is that a curb stomp? Yeah, I like the little. I hope that's in there. But like, I would totally have done that. Like if he would have jumped on me, and I mean, if I had to jump on him, I would have just made sure, like, I'm gonna smash your head in so much to make sure that. But even it's easier said than done. Like it's like, I really wouldn't. But if I had to, like I said, and the way he kills Dean, like with the stag, like
That honestly, I didn't see that one coming. That was good.
I saw it coming. I didn't know how it was coming. And when it got to me, I wasn't ready for it still. I was like, damn, because he got me. He brought me in, and he brought me right back.
I guess I take that back. I did see it coming. I just didn't expect it to escalate that quickly.
Yes,
okay, you take care of Jeremy. All right, we take care of Dean. Okay, oh, all right, we're going for the mother next. It was just like, oh wow. I mean, he's just like knocking them out one by one.
And she stabs him in the hand, and he still gets her. And
he powered through that.
So
like that was he was on next level. I mean, I don't know if that was the hypnotism or what, but they were
saying that black people are stronger. So I think maybe in that sense he's showing it, like in the movie. That's what they're saying. The body, the weak body, and then they gotta like that's always that debate.
Dude, but like to have no flinching to not even make a face or a sound, like like that was. But yeah, I mean, he'd already been through so much. Too. So, I think that might have been a little bit of it too.
I have a ignorant question to ask. There is no such. This is what I feel bad because I told him I fall in love, but there's no such thing. He goes, I got a stupid question. I go, oh, you got the dumb question. I go, there's no such things as dumb questions. Just regular people asking. Just dumb people asking regular questions. I just popped up in my head. There's no such thing as dumb questions. Just dumb people asking regular questions. But this is what I'm saying. I'm asking if well, I already threw myself off. What was I going to say about this? Oh, that when he was, and Chris was, because I was like, how did he get out of the chair? Because he faked the passing out. Was there a little cotton picking moment there? Because it's slavery. They talk about the slavery in this movie. This is a very
That
race movie. You know?
didn't even click.
Because he goes like that, and I'm like, cotton? Is he cotton picking? And then you put it in his ear. I was like, oh, okay, makes complete sense. Makes because
I honestly, I was like, what I was thinking in my initial viewing of that, before you see that he actually put the cotton in his ears, I thought, he was passed out, and I thought he was just amazed that he had, because you see him scratching throughout the movie,
Yeah.
and whenever he has the flashback of his mother dying, like you see him just scratching the pole to, doing all that. I think he was. For me, I was just like, he's just amazed that he was doing this in his sleep. Like that was my first reaction. That didn't even pop in my head about that. But I think, that very well could be a reference to that.
What was it called? Kuagula, the place, the place where you go where they're talking about, because it shows the picture of the young Dean, because they show it earlier and then you see him again in the video. Coagula, yeah, they call that place like So I did write something here from my point of view as being I hate saying minority, but being from that ethnic kind of like culture that we have. They don't. There's two things I got from the TV talking to him, like they're kind of like trying to like talk to him like he's a minority, like kind of trying to explain to him what's going on in the process, what they're gonna do to him, kind of really like he wouldn't get on his own, kind of thing. But also not in a sick way. Like I think it's more of the comforting thing, but also he doesn't open up about his mother until that part where they want to leave, and then Rose. I had some notes here, but what I'm trying to say is that we don't really open up. I'm pretty open because I went through, I work on it, but a lot of people they don't. A lot of cultures are known for being hard ass, or you can't. It's not okay, and I think that's wrong. I think it's okay to talk about your feelings. I think it's okay to talk about anything. I think it's okay to get anything out of your body or out of your head that you have to. Just if it's just talks or just getting out, like learning how to take self heal is one thing, but I did have that there where it is kind of crazy that that the Rose decides to leave because of that. Like and that's when I felt that maybe that Rose was like, I thought she turned like, okay, I'm gonna be good. And then when the whole keys part, I was like, nah, she's not. I know what she's doing. The keys, I can't find the keys the whole time. Like that would have pissed me off. I would have just gone over there. But the brother was in the way. Never mind. The brother with that stupid ass. But man, he got her. She gets him good. They show you how effective the little the hypnosis is. But I mean, I was so hooked. So I paused it just to pause. I didn't mean to do this at the end, but I paused it just to get up real quick. And when I paused it, it was right when the car was showing up, and I lost my shit. And I go, I can't even finish watching the last 5 minutes of this movie. You mean to tell me?
Oh, yeah.
Because Chris is on top of Rose, and I'm like, oh man, there's a fucking cop. They're gonna shoot his ass. Like, but we were talking about, and that completely got me when I wrote this down too. Is that where our minds are now? That my mind straight went to like he's gonna get shot. Okay, now I'm like, okay, this is the issue. This is it's a movie. It's just not real life. This is a movie, but my real life has told me the scenario that's going to come out, and that's fucked up.
Yeah,
I do see an issue. But it's good that these movies are being made, and there's a different voice, a different point of view. This is a well-respected writer for sure, well-respected comedian. Does his thing, has a best friend, and they have a show. So I think for the most part, like Get Out is one hell of a movie. Is the point of just I have all these notes and we've hit a lot of them, but the movie, I think these are more notes that I had. I have more notes that have no questions, but they kind of get answered towards the end of the movie. So that really like hooked me up. But let's jump into Us.
Yes.
So unlike Get Out, this has no race in it.
No, if anything, it's I would say it's classism.
It does have a classism. It is. I do, and I fight more for everyone. If you're listening, I look like a mutt, so I do fight for more for classism. So because I don't know, people don't know what race I'm in, so I got to fight for a class. So let's I did like that they did capture all that.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I don't look at an actress as a I don't know. I see the performance, and all four of them, the all four of the family members. I can't even see their I can't even. Well, is it Adelaide? The Wilson, the character's name, Adelaide.
Adelaide. Yeah.
Yeah. So played by Lupita Nyong'o. Nyong'o. Sorry, I suck at this. The Butcher Strikes Again.
No,
but
that one's a little bit more
Lupita,
difficult.
but basically, yeah, the Adelaide, her character, it's like Jordan Peele knows how to write a woman just like Kevin Smith does. Not overboard. She's not invincible. She gets hurt. She gets stabbed. Oh, dude, I love her. She's a mom, and she puts that first, and also wrote that in the. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but basically, just starting off with this movie. Yeah, I get it. This is a good. I was like, this might be a twofer. This is like a. These movies are so deep. They're layered so great.
What I was going to suggest is like we watch them this time and then we revisit them at a later date, maybe like rewatch them. And then since this is the first viewing too, I think it would be good because a lot of the movies we picked before we'd already seen.
I think that's true, and I think you're totally right. I'll capture something else. This is a little too fresh in my head, but I think everything I wrote down was like I basically I got some notes. I think basically I'm breaking this movie down as a filmmaker. I took a lot of pride in just being like, man, he because one thing I think I didn't pay attention to Get Out, but in Get Out, I think it says Jordan Peele film, and it says written and directed by Jordan Peele. But I did notice in Us, it says he's the writer, the producer, and the director. So it's like, all right, he made this bad boy himself. I will lead with this one. It says here on IMDb, horror, mystery, thriller. It's got
Thriller.
that sci-fi. Yeah, it's got that sci-fi-ish in there that Get Out doesn't really have. Get Out is more of a mind, psychological thing, where Us is a very kind of straightforward movie. A little bit, it explains everything. I love the way the opening shot, the VHSs, is Chud, The Man with Two Brains, Goonies, The Right Stuff, 1986, layering it for you. So, I mean, Chud, is it Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that movie before?
I have not, no.
It's a cult classic. Got Daniel Stern. It's got kind of like the Home Alone, to the dad and the Harry from Home Alone, and it when they're younger. But that's kind of a foreshadowing there. I think this is because Chud, they're underground dwellers. This movie is about shadow people. So basically, can you real quick, can you explain to me what the premise of this movie is, just so I make sure?
So my best guess, man. I was kind of thinking about it earlier too. So with Get Out, you have two people in one body. Mm-hmm. All right, two souls in one body. Whereas in Us, you have two people with one soul.
Yeah.
And at least that's whenever Red is explaining it. That's kind of the way I interpreted it. It's that these people are connected. They're all people, but there's a disconnect. Also, I have on my notes like, and on this one I have seen this a couple times. We actually went to this theaters whenever this came out and saw it there, and then I think we watched it whenever it popped up on HBO, and then I rewatched it again. Could they be clones? This is that was another thing that I was thinking about, because whenever she's talking about the shadow people, I believe she says like the people down in these labs created the tethered. Stuff
it's
like
okay.
that.
I didn't even think about that.
And then you also have all the rabbits and everything, which threw me off really a whole bunch, because I was like, what's up with the rabbits? Also, whenever I was watching, because I watched Us and then Get Out. And so at the beginning of Get Out, it's like a song called Run, Rabbit, Run. or something like that. So I don't know where we can connect that, but just something that I thought of.
We'll be connecting the worlds.
Yeah, that possibly could be it. But I was thinking either, clones, because if you clone something that potentially maybe it doesn't, it's going to be missing that substance, that soul, or whatever it may be. And then, like I said, you have all these rabbits, experiments, stuff like that. And then you also have the movie starting off with, talking about underground tunnels, and there's millions of underground tunnels and subway stations, all this other stuff. And so, yeah, man,
now that you're telling me the clones makes a lot of sense, man.
Yeah.
So basically, it is hard to tell the movie. It's hard to describe this movie.
But here's also the thing, dude. Like, if they're clones, then it almost doesn't work that way either, because
how do you get the DNA?
You hear well, and that too. And Red talks about giving birth to those children. So even if they were clones, it's not 100% that.
Well, why are they all?
Because they're not taught. I mean, if you have somebody.
Oh, dang!
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's what.
Yeah.
Okay. So see, that's what I like. This movie is. I literally finished watching this movie, and then 10 minutes later, I set up and we're here. Yeah. Okay. Now it makes a lot of sense. So basically, like the IMDb says. It's a family is on a beach vacation and their doppelgangers appear and terrorize them. I'm going with the clones. I'm going because okay, we're gonna ruin this movie. Remember spoilers? The little girl at the end, that little twist.
Mm-hmm.
I decided it was a twist. No, it's the main damn story.
Yeah,
it makes the most sense because then you have she broke her throat so she couldn't talk.
Yeah, that's why she has, and that voice that she does is so eerie, man. Like whenever she starts talking, yeah, I mean it's just like, and also, you got to think too, like she hasn't been able to communicate with anybody for years. Like even if she did talk, I mean she wouldn't get past. I mean, there's potential. What's that?
She also says that it took time and it took a lot of planning. Mm-hmm. So. Man, now I'm thinking about Chud, and I'm bringing it to the story because I saw Chud in the beginning, so I just I know some foreshadowing here. They are because I'm thinking these are like shadow people, like they're coming from another, like they're just a different mirror. But no, there's that's the entrance. That little house of mirrors, that's the entrance, and it wasn't a so that's the twist. So the good girl gets chased over by the bad girl. We're looking at the bad girl's point of view, and she's freaking out.
But are they bad? Is it that she's bad?
Well, no,
or is it that she?
Or I mean, in our point of view, from the protagonist's point of view, she's supposed to be the light and not the bad person or the good. The way because she does because even like she said, I gave birth to a child and it was pure evil. Like that smile, those smiles are crazy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if she gave birth to a child that was pure evil, what does that say about her? You know what I'm saying? Like they switched, but is there really like like I said, the best I can describe is that Adelaide did not have she did not have a soul. So that would be the difference between the two. But if whenever they switch, maybe she can learn to have a soul. That would be a stretch.
It makes sense though, because she's doing the ballet and art, and the girls and the people there were just astonished. So that's something she had taught her that she knew. Oh, and that's why this makes so much see. And that's why the parents are like, she's not talking. Why isn't she talking? Because she doesn't know how to talk. And as a teacher, they have to start all over. And this is in the '80s, so this is new. That's not newish, but they're trying to figure out speech therapy for the child. Yeah. Oh wow, I love Side by Side. Thank you. I think you're right too. I think I'm gonna have to I think I understood Get Out enough, or I think I understood like 70% of it. So when I rewatch it, I'll pick up small things. But now when I have to rewatch just to rewatch it, and it's on Amazon right now, so I'm gonna have to just rewatch it again.
Yeah, and another thing about Us compared to Get Out, like I said, you had a little bit of that comic relief, like whenever he went to the police station and tells a story and stuff like that, and the police just kind of bust out laughing and stuff. At Us, man, it just it's all somber, like all the time. Like,
I totally forgot to bring about that part about the police station. That's totally like a minority thing. They don't. They just make fun of us for that. They like want other people to laugh at us too, or I don't know. I don't want to see like a culture difference, but when you're kind of in that scenario with with that kind of people, you're like, yeah.
She said, "Don't say I never did anything
Instead of
for you."
like, 'cause she's like the boring one, and they're like the jokesters, and she got a joke and she won. I did like that he said, "I'm fucking TSA," like I'm TS motherfucking A, like that's badass, dude. Like
we handle our shit,
yeah,
you know. Like,
I did see in the beginning of Us, Tim Heidecker from Tim and Eric. I saw his name. I started laughing. I was like, oh, he's in it. Cool. So he is he's not a comic relief, but he's goofy. So he kind of pulls off a little bit. I mean, he's in here only two scenes, or only in the two scenes, but what was I gonna say? He does a good job. Like just kind of like the conversation with the dad. I have to hear corny dad, the boat name, the Crawdaddy, like and the damn boat. Like his whole existence is this boat, and his dad is just. He's a big nerd, man. Yeah, he's a big damn nerd, and he's what's his name? His actor is Winston Duke.
Hey, the butcher didn't do anything to that one.
That was pretty easy. Thank you. He plays. I'll butcher this one. Umbaku, and Black Panther and Infinity War. Umbaku. So he plays. He's already been in some pretty good movies. He plays a dad, but he plays him. I mean, this guy's a big guy, and he plays him really like nerdy, like he like really like I don't know, not like goofy, like a geek. Like he doesn't really want to. I mean, the version of him takes the bat away and breaks his legs.
Yeah, well, and then you also kind of. So you see him just like, hey guys, how's it going? You mind? What are y'all doing out there? And then he just like, now I told y'all to get out of my lawn. Like you see that you see that progression of like, okay, this is who I could potentially kind of be. Like this is I am this is who I choose to be, and this is the potential. You don't want to mess with me. Stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting too.
I give it up to the kids, man. The kid Evan Alex plays Jason and Pluto.
Oh, dude, fantastic job.
I can't even tell he's playing two characters. I think it's two different people. He does an amazing. We got to explain to me that. I also love the fact that oh god, it's such a mind fuck. It says Adelaide tells Red that's yours. Like you do the tricks, like man, because you have a good. It's like we're gonna say good and bad. We're gonna say the shadow people are bad and the regular people are good because we're regular people. We'll just go with that. So you have a good one on the bad side and a bad one on the good side. So I need to understand why is Pluto's face burned?
Yeah. So that fire trick. That's my best guess. It's like. You have Jason constantly trying to get that trick to work, and possibly Pluto's down there trying to do the same trick and then burns his face off. I think a lot of it has to do too with cultural references from the 80s. It looked a lot like Freddy Krueger. Sure. You have Jaws, like I said, you have Goonies. I guess Jaws was the 70s, but there's a lot of 80s centric kind of themes in this movie too. I don't even know if I wrote all of them down. But that was kind of what I was thinking.
So why does Red look at, or actually this would be Adelaide, why does she look at Jason like that? Like, does Jason know that it's the fake one? Oh, because she was in the room. He was in the locker room the whole time. Oh, he saw that. He saw that it was that his mom that birthed him it was a bad one, and the good one died. Damn, that's why they don't make it a big. They don't make it. It's like I think that's. I'm learning from this movie about modern horror. It does the twist, but it just does it real slow. Here you go. Here's the twist. Let's keep going. Like it doesn't. It's not like a big shocker anymore.
And what's funny is both Pluto and Jason wear masks to feel that comfort, you know. And what is it? Whenever, yeah. So I think him putting on the mask also symbolizes him, like whenever they go and whenever Adelaide goes into the house and she's like battling those twins, like he grabs that thing and has it in his hand, and he has it in his hand at the end too. That little rock that he hits her over the head with. But he puts his mask down, and then he's like, "All right, now it's time to get down to business." Like that's almost like he puts his mask down. He's about to kill somebody.
Yeah.
On kind of thing. So, he's probably like at the end he puts that mask down. I don't know whether he. And whenever I watched this again, I was like, "Is he about to kill Adelaide? Like, does he know? Is he going to try to correct this? I mean,
what this?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think you're with Jason. Yeah, I want to know is like how come Pluto mimics him and falls into the fire? What that part really scared me and pissed me off because Jason goes all the way back and then Red's waiting right there.
You can't hardly see her.
Can't see her at all.
It was like, I mean, just completely blended in.
As a parent, that first of all, you're too far from your kid. I would have walked, but still, I mean, we even I jokingly said that when Adelaide goes on her own, like, why would your kid? I don't know.
I think she was trying to save Pluto. She saw a lot of Pluto and Jason, or a lot of Jason and Pluto.
Well, yeah, we know that now, but in the part of the movie when you're watching it, you don't know that. So
yeah. And so like I think she just wanted to save him.
Because I got that makes sense though, because I feel like Pluto was the bad one and Jason was the good one, so she's the good one. Red's the good one, so Red tried to save her. And she can't talk and explain herself.
Well, and you almost feel like she wants to save the tethered, because she goes and she like, whenever what is it, Zora's doppelganger, whenever she's like in the tree all twisted up and everything, she's just like she's trying to calm her down. Like I don't think she necessarily wants anything bad to happen to those kids. Like she just wants to kill Red.
Even though there's still parents.
You know, so that Red is her main.
That's
focus.
What makes me believe that they're more clones than they are. Because now the rabbits, all the bunnies and stuff, that makes me, because they do lab tests on, whatever the movie versions of lab bunnies. But I did like. Now we're gonna see how I do this one. Shahadi Wright Joseph. She's the Zora Wilson character. I like the part where her and her brother, like I was waiting for him to pull his mask down, like they had to like step up, they had to grow up, and she does. I got the most kill counts. Like, well, no, I had to kill this one. It's like she.
I guess there was a little bit of comic relief there.
It's a little bit. I mean, it's very, very, very subtle. But you have to pick.
Dark.
It's not supposed to make. It's not supposed to make you laugh, but it makes you giggle. I like her character a lot too, with where she just start running. And God, the crazy one, like the crazy. I think she has a name too on this one. It's not just.
Yeah, it's Umbre.
Umbre, yeah.
Yeah. Funny enough, every single person that you see their doppelganger, they all have names. Oh, every single one of them.
Abraham is the other one for Gabe.
Even the twins. Elizabeth Moss is Dahlia. Yeah, and then Tex for Tim Heidecker.
Yeah. Tex. That was funny. Well, even see, she hits Tex on the head and doesn't do anything, or did it slow him down? Because he was kind of like.
I think it slows him down. But yeah, oh man, that whole scene, that whenever right before they get there and those twins come out and just kill the other. So the bad twins kill the good twins.
Oh, came out of nowhere. I like the angle they used though, because I was like. I'm learning that now I'm in the horror brand new with this. I don't know. You said you should. I'm a dad, and so I see the kids dying. I'm like but I like the way they pulled it. They pulled it back. They did the long shot, but then they all get it. They all just went straight for the kill. And I think, I guess with that family, it shows you it is a classism thing. They're the other family, the Wilsons. They're closer united than the Taylors. Taylors, they all go do their own thing, and the Wilsons, they know each other. They know, do your tricks on him. Like we knew he's gonna lock him in there. We already knew that was gonna happen, and it was enough for them to get out. So it is kind of hard not to root for Red, but because you don't, once you figure it out, you're like, oh shit, I want to root for Red now. But the twins, the twins show like that they kind of know the family. Like your brother's so weird, and they're just kind of spoiled little kids, and that shows that even when Josh, Tim's character didn't want to like get up from the couch. I'm busy. Oh, don't.
I'm busy. Yeah.
It's like just drinking. What else was I gonna get? A lot. There was just those little the boat thing was funny. I put that there were competitive dads. Like he even talks about the flare gun and it just shoots them. It does nothing. Like
Yeah.
and he goes, actually, I've killed two. I killed me and I killed was it Tex or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, I put here PTSD from when she was a child, but it's the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Red has the issues. Relives childhood moments. Let's see. I thought it was funny that the dad is wearing a Howard sweater and he makes dumb decisions. So saying that he's educated but not smart, but like I picked up on that. That's what I thought.
Yeah, like he continuously goes outside. And closes the door, and it's almost like they make a point to show that door is closed. Like, why wouldn't you leave? Well, I mean, I guess I don't even know, man. First off, I wouldn't go outside.
No, I wouldn't.
Unless I had a firearm or something, I definitely wouldn't go out there unarmed the very first time. But like you said, I mean, making decisions that are not necessarily.
Well, Adelaide freaking says I'm she's. It also makes me feel now that she's watching her back because she's the messed up one, that she did something and it's coming back together, and that's why she's on the edge. Man, She's just good acting. She's damn good acting, man.
Well, then what is it? Kitty, whenever they're out at the beach, and she's just like the frisbee lands on that polka dot like perfectly. And she's like, it's been a lot of coincidences lately, and then you just like. You wonder too, like what does that have to do with all these people coming about? Like, what are the coincidences mean? Like the 11-11, always hearing the 11-11, 11-11.
Jeremiah
11-11. It's 11-11 on the clock. The Twins are playing. 11-11 is the score of the baseball. Just stuff like that. So. Yeah, it's very interesting. Surely there was meant to be a correlation there with the coincidences and then the tethered coming up. Kind of getting back to what you were saying earlier of like Pluto walking to the fire and everything like that. So they're connected, I think, because you see in that scene where I guess young Adelaide is down there before she comes up to the surface, and she's just walking around. Or I guess it would be young Red. Oh man, that's a little confusing. Whenever bad Adelaide is down there in underneath before she comes up, she's just like walking around. Yeah,
we met. That's what it means. Okay, so they are tethered. Tethering means they're technically. Because
they're together.
If Red is down at down in the whatever the lab, and she's tethered to Adelaide, and Adelaide's learning the moves all over, so then that means she's learning it too. So she's learning everything at the same time. So she's teaching the other ones. That's why I said. So that's what she's able to teach. She can't communicate verbally, but she can communicate other ways. They do have that in here. Shit, they do say that. I remember that part. So that is kind of the supernatural part. They're connected somehow. We don't know how.
Yeah, and it's strange too because like they aren't always connected. It's not like he's mirroring him all the time, but I think it's so much of like whenever Jason is just like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Whenever he makes that decision of like, I'm going to walk backwards and I'm going to control him. Like I just feel like he knows that connection. So that's why he's able to control Pluto because he's been controlling him his whole life.
Yeah.
He's had that connection with him his whole life, and he can manipulate him.
They're kind of
because
friends.
He has that power. Yeah, and that's another thing too is like they have that connection. they're both very, and I think that's why you see Adelaide just kind of clinging on to Jason a little bit more than her daughter. Like there's a bigger connection with Jason than there's her daughter. Whereas and then the dad has a bigger connection with Zora.
So as we're talking, I'm wondering how come they were super fast, or how come they walked like that? How come even Tim Heidecker's character does like a little bounce, like hey, like I don't know. I wonder why they're like that. Like there's a little, the son does it. He jumps around. I mean, they're able to jump on the cars where he's like nothing, or maybe they just don't have any fear. They're just regular. They don't really know what fear is, so they just keep going through it.
They just have such strange movements. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah,
just the way they
move. Being like that, like an animal, like and running. Like as soon as you see Pluto at the top of the pier, and you're like, oh, he's gonna catch him because he's fast. He gets close, but he doesn't get him on the boat. And the boat again. The boat. That's funny. The boat shit keeps coming back up. That there's humor there. You just kind of have to pick it up. She said, "Tested by God." We were there. Like, we're Americans. When she said that, like, I'll take it from here on the point of like in my head. I think because I was raised by foreigners, and I feel like this is like their doppelganger, sometimes like the foreign version of you, kind of like in a way. Like I think that's maybe when she says that we're Americans, like they're trying to take over their spot. And maybe I don't know. I kind of got that.
So her T-shirt was the Hands Across America.
Mm-hmm.
So what I kind of picked up on that is like, I think it kind of goes back to the classism thing. Like we're Americans too.
Yeah.
Kind of that, like you were kind of getting at, like, and so she just like, that's the only thing she had left was that Hands Across America shirt, and that's why they're all holding hands at the end and they're making that long line. Yeah. And I think that's the one thing that she really just kind of. That was how she was able to bring everybody together. Like, this is what we are. Yeah. We're Hands Across America. We're Americans.
That's the simplest form. That's the simplest form I could share everybody, and that's why they're doing. That's why they're not doing anything but that. But they're killing. Yeah. They're killing. I don't know, man. They're killing each other. They killed the guy. The cameraman got killed for crying out. The guy recording on the cell phone. Yeah. He got killed. So they're.
Well, and did other families make it like the Wilsons? They killed their doppelgangers. Yeah, all the tethered Wilsons are down underneath, but okay, so that would kind of track because you would, Red was originally from up top.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she died. And then the kids, yes, that would also make sense. But if the dad didn't make it, that would almost make sense because he's from the top. He has no connection to the tethered aside from his,
doppelganger.
Yeah. So, but he made it through too. So I think if he didn't make it, then you'd even see so much of like, all right, the tethered,
There's a point there where you feel like the dad's gonna die, but I don't know why he takes him all the way down. Oh well, he was gonna throw him in the lake, because even the doppelganger version of the dad's a big puss. So he's like, it makes sense. He's not gonna kill. Okay, so Zara's you can't really tell if she's super sweet or nice, but she's just very humble there. What's her doppelganger name? Zara's is Umbri. Umbri when she comes around, like she's the evil child. She's like the bad one. So they even do like an O.J. Simpson reference. That's funny. The thing I have here is I like this as I just picked this up as a writer. It says stabs the guy in the leg, and I just put that in there because I thought that was kind of funny. The guy's like, "Hey, get off my car!" Like you're like, I don't know. I wouldn't if I saw somebody jumping on my car. I'd be like, I just turned the alarm on or something. I'd be like, come on, man. Like I wouldn't get close to them. I don't know what mental state they're in. I don't know what they have any weapons. I don't know. So I just that's my. But the guy gets close, and I'm watching. I'm looking here at the characters in the IMDb, and old and behold, the character who gets stabbed in the leg, his name is Don.
Yeah.
By Lone Go on. I like this because when I first got into my first screenwriting class and back with ACC with Kathy Welch, thank you. That was my first like ACC, my full college class. I would write every character in. I'd give them a name, And some people, some classmates would be telling me like, why would you go and put the name in there? They're not even character. I go, yeah, but they're in the world. Might as well give them a name. I can't just be, sidekick 1, 2, and 3. I want to give them, names about of who they are. But now that we're really talking about this, and it's still fresh in my head, it's clearing it up a lot more. And it's actually as it's embedding in my head, it's getting nicer because these are doppelgangers, and they are the only thing tethered to them is the soul. So that's how they kind of find each other. The fancy house and the family differences. That's what I wrote that about that. I wrote that, but I want to bring it up. We did. The NWA was funny. Call the police.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, also they did the I got 5 on it. At the end, the battle scene where they both doing the ballet. It even shows you. It shows you that Red's even better because she has a purpose. Like it's, you took my life. But I like the way they play that scene. These movies are shot perfect. They're just great. They're just great movies that they're not in a rush. They're very slow paced, but they give you what you need. They're not trying to scare you, not trying to jump cut you every time. There are jump cuts, but they're very subtle. They get you not like you. There's humor in there, but it's not super. Everything's very mellow, and I like that. The way he does it, the way he does direction. Oh, here I can't read. Oh yeah, because then I wrote at first it's happening locally, then it kind of shows everywhere because then you see the news people get involved. Oh yeah, I put this movie. It's a mind fuck. It's mind trip.
Yeah.
It's definitely a mind trip with everything. Like what are the rabbits? I see a lot of these questions I have here for us. We answered already. Oh yeah, and they also use the word "us" in the movie.
Yeah, it's us.
It's us. They use it. So
Jason
that's that thing that Jordan Peele does. I know he does. He's doing Twilight right now. I don't know if he remade it or he's just doing something with the Twilight Zone. Sorry, not Twilight, but Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I have a note down here. It said follow the right white rabbit because whenever sorry, this is just kind of out here. I was looking through my notes, but there's a little white rabbit down there in the corner. Whenever young Adelaide or bad Adelaide comes up, like there's a little rabbit down there.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Where she opens that up. Sorry, like I said, just throwing that out there.
Well,
we can take it where we want to.
It's going down the rabbit hole. That's
Yeah.
the hole. I have here. There's the acting that scene. There's a lot of quiet. There's a lot of quietness in there in the way they act. Oh,
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to do that performance and have the consciousness of the other people. It's just I remember like watching that and being like, that's some good acting. That's some really good acting. Man, let's go into the nitty gritty now. Let's I did find out something about these movies for the Wikipedia. This is one thing that Jordan Peele does do, and he makes money on these. Wow, this one, Get Out, $4.5 million to make. Box office $255.4 million.
Damn.
Killed.
Yeah.
Big time.
Jesus.
Murdered it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Like it's just like when you think about it, like that's a lot of movement, a lot of loot for a horror film, man. But I mean, horror movies do make money, but God, this movie makes a shit ton of money.
It really does. Oh my gosh, that's great though. I mean, like I said, especially for a directorial debut. I mean, at least as far as movies go too. Like that is. Let's see here. I'm looking up. Yeah, so he had 5 times the budget on Us. He had 20 million there.
Yeah, how much? About
the same.
Almost 250, right?
Yeah, actually, let's see here. It made 255 million as well.
Remember the same? Yeah, 255. Yeah. Check this out. It was released in March 8th, 2019, here at South by Southwest. But
Get Out was.
Yeah.
Right.
No, Us was.
Us was. Oh,
yeah, but
wow.
You can't.
Oh, wow.
Back then, well, I mean, we'll see how things are now in Austin, but it was kind of hard to enjoy. But let's do the Rotten Tomato score. Wow. Because we know how I feel about critics. I hope people have caught on. I don't really care.
Let's see here. Wow.
God, I don't. They're gonna just say whatever they want. This is, and I'm not agreeing with the critics. I have my own view on this. but they have a 98 on the tomato meter on Rotten Tomato.
I think it's just because it was so fresh. I mean, no pun intended on there being with like Rotten Tomatoes, but like because I think that's how they give it scores. But it was just so it's such a different take on like a thriller or something like that. It hits on a lot of cultural issues. It's not just there for it has meaning, and I think that's what a lot of critics look for. It's just like meaning in film. Like they like taking it and breaking it down kind of like we do. And if it gives them more things to write about, then I think they can probably like it.
And that's what I'm trying to say. I think this is why I'm older. So I mean, when I'm older now, when I was younger, if I think I would have had this kind of platform here, I wouldn't talk. But now that I'm getting older, I'm like, nah, we have to speak up a little bit. I just think, and what I'm trying to say is, I think it's because it is a racist topic thing. I think it's a hot topic, and I don't want people to come across and say that that's the only reason why I got a good score or something because it was an edgy movie. No, this is a damn good movie from start to beginning. The audience score is an 86, which I think, honestly, I would say it's a little low. I would kind of, if it was like a 90, 92, I'd be, this is because 98 to me is almost a perfect movie. And I don't like what critics have. 386 critics responded to this one, opposed to 75,444 critics, which that's pretty low for me, I think. But it's also, like, it's a fresh movie. I think also 2017, still not too far. It was 3 years ago. But I'll say that a lot of the critics, I feel like this is, them, a lot of people, a critic was to me for this type of movie, what they like to watch and write, they want to force this movie on you, and I wouldn't want to force a movie on anybody but this is just like I would want people to watch this as a regular person, just to get up dialogue and understanding other people's cultures, or just you don't have to even be white to feel like something. It's just understanding that being American, or just understanding that there are other types of people around you, and that there are types of other cultures, other lifestyles. So just I'm more about respectful than be nice. I think anybody can say they can be nice and they can be passive aggressive, but I think it's more about respect. I think about just because I can give you the time, give you respect, and that's I don't have to talk to you. But be nice means I gotta and I'm like, no, I don't like the be nice movement. I mean, even here, critics conscious, it says funny, scary, and thought provoking. Get Out seamlessly weaves its trenchant social critiques into brilliantly effective and entertaining horror/comedy thrill ride. It's I don't feel like there's a lot of comedy in it.
No.
I don't think it's.
Like I said, I feel like there's more comedic. What am I trying to say? There's more comedy in Get Out, more blatant comedy, not as dark comedy. It was more of like with Lil Rel Howery, like he the comic relief. Oh, that's what I was trying to say. Good gracious. I feel like there was a little bit more of that in Get Out, where you just have these tense moments, and then you see a scene with him, and it just like kind of brings you back.
Yeah.
So I think that's I don't think there's a lot of comedy, but I would say between the two, it has more than Us. Whereas with Us, it's more of like a dark, like, oh, I had this many kill counts. Like it's more of that twisted humor.
Yeah. So
more or less.
So with the Rod Williams character, I like him because he's not written like a stereotype.
Yeah.
He's funny, but he's not trying to be like that comedic minority. I'm funny. Look at me, haha. Like I could make a joke. He's funny just by his performance. It's just the way he says things, and I think that's what the brilliant is. Like his character, his performance. He brings it up. Like for me, if I were to tell somebody, he's a Mexican, he had to be, he's Mexican American, so he's gotta be a vato, and like stuff like that. I'm like, I don't talk like, I don't know, we're not like that, So I like that he's able to kind of grasp that as an actor and portray the character where he's likable. He's funny, but he's funny just to be around, the presence. But the way this movie, the way this movie has him, he's a good part to it. It brings back the humor, but like you said, down to earth. But I want to let's rate him. Let's rate this one real quick.
All right, you want to rate Get Out?
Yeah, because I got a score for that for Get Out, and I think it suits it perfect for me and everything, and the way I saw it, and the way to be a filmmaker.
I'm always going first. You tell me. What do you got?
12.
Dang, I literally just wrote my scores down, and that's what I had for it too.
A
I have
12?
12.
God. Dude. I hit it. I was like, dude, I looks funny. It's not my patented 13 because those always hit me with the nostalgia and I can't break out of it. It's really hard for me to break that moment of like, and this is what I love that we came this is full circle for CJ because I have, you said in the beginning that we always watch movies we've seen and we're just kind of getting retouched with them and I love that. But this one is a first time for me with my hat, my filmmaking ideas and whatever I can do and just watching it just as a story being told, it's brilliant, it's beautiful,
Yeah.
it's seamless. It is, they said seamlessly, it is seamless. It feels like everything flows well, everything good. The metaphor of him falling out of his brain or his mind, beautiful, captures it nice. The way, I mean, like I said, they don't make the characters annoying either, like they're just settled. And it's like those comments aren't racist to me. I don't think they're just trying to figure it out like everyone else. There is an age gap between people, you know. But I like that they don't really focus on that and that Chris, the the main character does not get hung up on any of that. That's why I wrote he
Yeah.
seems calm. He doesn't bother him, doesn't phase him. And I like myself, I feel like I can relate to that character because I feel the same way. Like it does not bother me. I gave it a 12 because for a 10, it hits everything as a 10. Like it's just perfect 10. Now, it being a 13, almost, but I will say, and I'll give this with us too. Um, I noticed that what I said about horror movies that I have a bunch of them from the 80s when I was a kid and in the 90s and in the 2000s I kind of forgot about them, and I think it's because I didn't really have them attached to a lot of moments in my life like I did when I was younger. I saw a lot of movies with my aunt, so I could always remember I saw that movie with her, and I remember the conversation. I remember we went to go eat. It has a lot of things connected with it. But when I go watch a movie and nothing happens for that day, and I just go watch the movie, I just watch the movie. Unless it's a movie that it really impacted me, or really, I mean, sometimes movies fall to the side, and then you watch them again, you realize, oh, I really did like, or I really did it. But I like this because now I have Us and Get Out attached to side by side with Us.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and I know, and I have my notes and I have my breakdown that I already know that now when I go in, I know when I tell it to someone else and I share it with someone, I tell it like I know exactly how to do it because this is definitely a spoiler. This is one of those I tell just sit down and watch it and shut up. Like I would say just get off your phone, turn your phone off, put it on airplane mode, whatever you can, focus on this movie a little bit. Just watch the way they interact, the way they would talk, the way people. I mean, I really want to know about the Flash. I feel like it really does kind of connect you a little bit, like because as soon as Chris sends it to Rod, that's Dre.
Yeah.
Hayweather, Hayworth. He does it like he gets him right away. Like he already knows like that's somebody from their area. So it is like an urban sub. They don't show it too much, but he lives in a nice part, or his apartment looks nice. But it's like it shows the friendship commodity that they have, and that's what kind of helped them through this. So I feel like this movie really attaches itself with me now. Like Get Out is like I'm like I picked, and in my background I picked this design because it was on the IMDb, and I was like, that's an awesome graphic. It kind of captures kind of what the moment you float, you kind of captures the essence of like being like in the movie, like feeling a little bit. He's feeling alienated, but we don't feel it. You don't feel like ostracized. Like like he just feels. It feels like I feel like I hope it makes people think that when you're in that scenario, there's another way to handle it, other ways to handle other things. And I like the way Chris handles all that. I like the way he holds himself. He never really snaps until the end when he's like finding out that like he kind of putting in his head like, oh, this chick's with him too. He's learning. He's capable of doing things. A solid 12, man. It's almost a 13. But because I don't think it'd be in my top 10. Like I don't think it'd be up there, but I'd be up there in my like top 25. Like it's getting up there. Like I'd have to really. This one would be battling out because it just everything about this movie is great. I love the dialogue. I love the shots. The opening scene, that Porsche. I love that Porsche. When I come to money, I'm gonna eventually buy one of those. I don't know when, but I love just a classic car. That's a nice one just to have. Like, and it makes me feel like it's now that we break it down the characters, we know them a little bit more, and now that we understand that is Jeremy. It's Jeremy, right? The brother.
Yeah.
It is Jeremy. It makes me feel like he's just driving and he just sees him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not even talking. But it's also like the dialogue that Andre's giving you. He's kind of telling you that he's kind of in the area. He's like, why you want to be in the area? He's in the suburb, you know. So it's either that Jeremy's just driving around and I just happen to see it because he does the U-turn, and I would do that too. Exactly what Andre does. He turns around and walks towards them, but I wouldn't cross the street right away, and I would have my back. I wouldn't really walk. I'd walk. There's a reason why when you're walking when you're driving in the hood or so to speak in some areas, why people walk in the middle of the road, because that's the only part that's lit. So whenever you're walking at night and you're walking in the dark, you don't want to walk because people can get you, and it's just the way those neighborhoods are, you know. And I've walked. I'm from kind of, I'm not from that area, but I show up there a lot. I got a lot, and sometimes we're walking to people's houses. You're like, I don't want to walk in the middle of the street. People can see me, but then you realize, but then I can't see anybody else. So let me walk in the middle of the street. So he does it. He has like a conscious. Andre even knows like there's something wrong, but he doesn't. He's like, whoa, what's going on? But the way they do the angle, the camera comes all the way back around, and it's basically barely hiding Jeremy from our sight, and he's coming around to get him, and he chokes him out. Like that sucks, man. Like that's a hard. He's like proud of that choke out too. You know, he's like, you know anything about MMA? Like he wants to, because he wants to be challenged. So I mean, I this is a beginning scene alone. Just I'm learning that about movies. The opening scene is very important, and this movie got me hooked. Like I had to write. Don't forget, this isn't a comedy. This is a horror, and that's what I'm just gonna say with my 12. I think it's a good movie. You got a 12 too, man. You got a 12. That's good that we're both on the same page there.
Yeah, man. Man, you said it great. I completely agree. This movie is, I mean, it hits on a lot of things that, like I said, they just kind of simmer on the right there. They're almost talked about, but you don't talk about kind of thing, you know, like it's kind of like what Rose does. Like she's almost bringing up like, because what was it whenever I think it's right after the party, she's just like talking about, well, they did this and they did that and they did this, you know? And so, you know, it's almost like she's almost trying to get a rise out of him, you know, just almost.
I got comfort.
You know,
I got comfort out of that area. Like the way she sells it, like she's not like her white parents, but she's you know, she's aware of it. Like, and you kind of, man, I also, when you date a lot and you date a lot of different cultures like I did, and different races and ethnicities, you start to learn a lot about people, and the way she sells it, you know, Rose, the way she sells that it's believable. Like she really like, and I'm telling you, there's times where I thought she was gonna be on his side. Like she just said, you know, I want to save him, because also when he died, she was like, you're my favorite one, you know, like. And that's why, like, does she want to get caught? Does she want to show him the pictures so he knows where he's gonna die or he's gonna end up? Or is it Georgina, like, just being like, let me open this so he can see it and he can help me out? I don't know, you know. But I like it that it's open. Now I'm going to move over to us because I want to give you my score, because I want to see what your score is going to be. So with us, I give it a 11. Ironically, not knowing that the 11, I gave it an 11.
Like I said, I just wrote this down. I mentioned that earlier, but I didn't even. It was not intentional, but I gave it an 11 as well.
We're good. We're getting this. We're on the same page. The
reason we must be tethered or something.
We're tethered, yeah. Or we're the Get Out and the Us combined version, like. So basically, yeah, we could do that. We could do that, or trading places or switching spots. Like,
yeah.
But I'll say an 11 only because it is a good movie already. Like, gonna be a 10. 11 because it's out there, and you know what, man, this sucks. I don't want to go back on my 11, but it's more of a 12. But
I'll tell you why it's an 11. It does not have the resolution that Get Out has.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You're right.
I don't want to cut you off and give you a reason to keep it at 11, but it does not have the same. First off, I don't feel like it, because at the end of Get Out, you're like, okay, this is what happened. Like he got away. Like that was comforting. almost.
Well, just the way they did it with the cop show, the TSA, like that mess, because that's like that. I mean, there I paused and it was like 4 minutes left or 5 minutes left. I'm like, oh god, I can't. But it showed me like even the last bit is gonna be good. Like you're getting it.
Yeah.
You're right, and you're right. I think it holds a little bit more impact, maybe even social impact, to why I feel like it should be a 12. But I give us an 11. Man, there's no flaws. There's no flaws in this movie. And now that
it's just very, very confusing. You don't really know what the hell's going on, but you kind of do. Like it gives you enough to think on it, but it doesn't give you what you need to figure out a movie. Because that's what I'm always trying to do, man. I'm always trying to figure out what the hell is going on or what's going to happen next, and just how is this movie going to end, and how is it all going to get tied up, and you don't get that, man. You don't get that nice little bow. It's that Christmas gift that just has a bunch of fucking tape on it, and they just kind of threw it at you. But it's like that. It's like that gift. It's like a PS5 that's wrapped up horribly, and it doesn't have that nice bow on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's everything that you want. It's not even to say it's not packaged right. It's just like, man, it just it leaves you with more questions than it does answers. And I feel like Get Out, like you get all the answers.
I feel like Get Out,
not all of them, but
no, for the story. I feel like Get Out is definitely a Band-Aid pull with what you get right away. It's just doom. This is what it is. Get uncomfortable, get comfortable. It's not uncomfortable though. It's not an uncomfortable ride about that. I mean, from my point of view, like I said, third party over here. It's not, because and I'm gonna say this, and I don't know what people would think about me, but the whole racism thing, to me, I feel like being like Latino and being raised Latino, I think it's more of a white and black thing. I don't really fall like I feel like I've been in both houses. I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I don't see it. I don't know if this is stems from.
Well, and I think, I mean, how you have white supremacists. I mean, you don't have many other races that are just like supremacists.
I forgot to bring up this story, and this is why, because when you see a lot of like hardcore shit is one thing, but when you see the way people interact is another thing. When I went to Washington State, and I mean, I have these lights on me right here. I feel like I'm not. But when I went in May. I went with the Baseline Bums. I basically with some childhood friends there. They were in a punk rock band. They got signed. They went on tour. I went with them. We went to the the West Coast for 3 weeks, and I was hanging out. But we stayed in Washington for a little bit. Stayed in Washington, and we stayed at Tacoma, and we went to Seattle, and then went to Birmingham. Well, this is like twilight area where there's no rain, and it's just, I mean, it's nothing but rain. There's no light. It's very dark. And I got there in May, so I've been running outside, jogging, doing my thing. So I have a nice dark complexion. And I realized one thing real fast about that area, that they called it bipolar weather, where it would rain and stop, rain and stop. I mean, literally like pouring rain and just stop, pouring rain and just stop. And I was like, okay. And there's like, yeah, a lot of people don't really get out much. So there's a lot of people, they're kind of more pale complected. Even some of the quote unquote, like the black people, like I was darker than them. Like even like the quote, like whatever ethnicity you were that you were supposed to be like the dark, I was the darkest one. Didn't matter what it was. So when people would look at me, it wasn't like, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody in Washington State. It was just at this time it worked out where people, like when someone looks at you, they give you like, when they accidentally like lock eyes or something, they kind of do like this little like, oh sorry, like oh like sorry, and they'll try to turn their head or like play it off. Over there, they were doing this to me, and I'd turn around and I'd be like what the hell? Like also because I'm also dressed kind of like, I'm all in black. So I'm just wearing like a black V-neck with black tight pants and whatever, and black boots, and I look like I'm in the band. My hair is like down to here too. My hair is all the way down here. So but it was like kind of like I felt that uneasiness. I did feel that. So I do have that feeling of being kind of the fish out of water, where it was really like wow. One night we went to a bar, and it was just like a mixed people. I mean, not mixed. When I say mixed, I don't mean color or anything. I mean just mixed, like I guess classes in there. And some college girls came up to me. They were cute, and they went up to me and they started talking to me like, "Hey!" And through our conversation, they found out that I was Mexican, and they're like, "He's Spanish." And then they went back and told their group of friends, "Oh, he's Spanish." They're like, "Oh." And I was like, oh, really? Like I stuck out that bad. But it didn't bother me. I didn't get a defense or anything. But I was just kind of, that's kind of cool. I didn't realize that I stick out like that. But I was watching Get Out and seeing the way that like people do look at you and talk to you. I felt more like the classism there than racism, where I feel like,
Yeah.
but it is a racism thing. But like just kind of getting those feels. So I do understand a little bit about like when someone just looks at you like you don't belong. I mean, I get that a lot anywhere, but like that because I want to bring up the part, and I don't want to get too deep into it. Now I'll save that story for later because there's something happened to me on that trip where I saw walking. I guess I might as well say we're already here. There was we're in Birmingham, and there's like a downtown area, and it's real small little. It's basically a naval base that people just go and kind of like the Air Force base in my hometown, but it's a naval base where they just kind of go port and leave. So there's not a lot of people there, but the people that were there was a like a theater where they're performing at the band, and I was hanging out, and I had to use the restroom. I had to go pee, and if you just go down the street, there was a tattoo parlor, and I was like, well, this is kind of crazy. People were hanging out outside there, and you go on the other side. There was like a building, and then on the catty corner there was a Mexican restaurant. I was like, I'll just go to the Mexican restaurant. Like this, I'll fit right in. I could talk Spanish. I get in there. So as I'm going, I start walking towards the tattoo parlor, but I see like a Confederate flag, and then I see like a swastika, and it's like open. Like they're like it's open, like this racism stuff, just like open out there. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna avoid that. So I walk across, and then I walk into like that building that was just there, and as I open it, I accidentally see a tournament of Dungeons and Dragons going on. Like it's like some kind of comic book convention. And I was like, okay, well, there's this. I can always come back here if I get I'm amongst my people, so I can do that. Or then whatever. I went to the Mexican. Long story short, when the Mexican restaurant came back, well, when we're leaving, we're all like shit faced, leaving the place, and we meet the punk Billy Rock guys from the other band, and these guys are crazy. Like these are fighters. These guys are like living their life. Like we're about band. Like these are hardcore punk rock people. And one of the main guys comes out, and he looks. I'm like staring at that like because we're so close to the Confederate, all that stuff. We're so close, and I'm like staring at it. He goes, "Oh, you see over there?" Yeah, his name was Dale. He's a big guy. He's missing a tooth. He's a fighter. He's got scratches and scars on his face. He goes, "Oh, you see those guys? Oh, those are skinheads. They're not welcome around here, but they still think they could exist." Yeah, so I go and regulate. You want to go over there? I go, no. He goes, "Oh, they're not. Oh, I took on 7 of them last week." And then like one of his friends comes around. He goes, "I go, what?" He goes, "Oh yeah, they're skinny little guys. They're nothing, man. We'll beat them up." Like so, like when those guys were acting up, like doing that, like those people, like the local, were just beating those guys up, like. And they're telling me these crazy stories. And I was like, I guess if you have to self-regulate, do it. Like, do what you can, take care of your people, make sure they don't. But I don't know why I'm sharing this, but it did feel like it feels like where you do feel scared, and you do feel. I'm sorry, especially me being in Washington. I always feel like I have a good awareness about things, but seeing stuff like that in firsthand is like, whoa, wow, like that's a very prominent thing. But it was also rewarding knowing that there was someone behind my back being like, oh, we won't let them do anything because we'll go in there and kick their ass. Like, well, you know what? Nah, I'll go kick their ass right now. I don't care. It's like to me. So I feel like Chris's scenario, Rod was his only way out. I feel like that was the only thing that keep him here. So I feel like I can relate that to that story, and that's why it's a 12 for me. Where us, it's just a nice little thrill ride. It's a nice scary concept. And I just finished watching it, and you watched it too recently. We're breaking it down even more. So this movie's very layered. This movie has a lot to offer, and there's a lot of things that they're. And like I said, I don't have anything bad to say about Washington. By the way, this state it was just an experience I went through. I just thought that was.
It's not Texas. How about that?
Yeah, it's not Texas. Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. But I was just like as I can relate us to us, like just the family concept, man. Like I was just like, how would you take care of your family, and the fact that Adelaide, she just kicks in, regardless if she's good or bad, just kicks in and she does it, and we get to see it, and which is it's such a mind trip. We're seeing it through a villain's eye in a way, but she's not a villain because she's already adjusted. So maybe she's, even though she happened so long ago, she's technically a good person now, and all Red wants is her back, or wants to be recognized too. I don't even think she really wants. I think they're killing the doppelgangers to be like, we're taking over, and why do they even exist? It's crazy. Like, the Rotten Tomato score for this is
I know.
wow, I didn't even, this is different. So this is what I'm talking about, the critics. So it's a 93 tomato meter at 533 total count. Audience gave it a 59%, 13,123. So this is where I was saying where the critics were. I think this is what I'm just speculating here, but where they're gonna want to put it out there because it's a Jordan Peele movie that made it's connected. It's not really, but I don't either way. I don't care what the critics say. That 59, that's too low for me. That's way too low. I wouldn't even give this. I'd give this thing a 87 at lowest, 86. Like it's a B plus. Like God, I don't understand. It might be a little too much for people. It might be too much material. Yeah. I'm thinking it might be a little too much that some people are like, I just wanted a horror movie and I got this crazy ass thing.
Yeah, and like I said, I think a lot of people like to. I wouldn't even like to say that he didn't finish the story, but I feel like that's where people probably got hung up on it. Is like it didn't have that nice bow at the end. Like watching us and then watching us first and then watching Get Out. I did not think Get Out would have I don't even want to say a happy ending, but like you can take a breath, like, and us, you just like, you're left with that. You just left there, man. It's like it's not that he doesn't care what you think about the ending, but he's not, I feel like us, he's just not worried about the ending as much. He's not worried about making you feel good. It's just, this is the way it's ended, And with Get Out, like I said, there was an alternate ending where he went to jail.
I mean, you going to jail sucks, but I thought he was gonna get shot.
No, that's what I was thinking too, man. Like I said, that's why whenever Get Out had him pop up, I was just like, oh, like I literally wrote down in my notes, thank God it's Rod, like it was a relief, and where, like I said, where us just does not give you that relief. You just pan over with them in the ambulance, and then you just see the world has changed. You have all these doppelgangers just making a line. Like you don't even know where that's going. You don't know what the
premise. They're out. Yeah. That's it. Like they just do they kill the other half and then hold hands. Like we'll be together.
Yep. And like you almost, that's why you're looking at the end of the movie. You're like, what's the point? And
so there's kind of a letdown at the end.
I think that's where a lot of people, but that's the thing about these movies, man. You can't just, and I feel too, like probably a lot of people watch this and just watched it once and didn't really give it too much thought. Whereas, movies like this, man, you really, like you said, there's so many layers. I mean, watching it just once it's great. I mean, you can get that, you can go, oh wow, and you can do like we do and just break it down. But after multiple viewings, then you just start to see, like, you start picking up on things. Like I feel like watching, like I said, I watched Get Out once. I really want to watch it again because what was it? There was one part that I did write down. It was like it was whenever he was giving the tour, and you first meet Georgina, and he walks into the kitchen. He's like, "And this is the kitchen. My mother designed it. We like to have a little piece of mom here." But it's Georgina.
Yes, Georgina. Yeah,
and so it's just like little stuff like
foreshadowing, man. It's just in there. It's in there. Like,
it is.
It's in your face, but you kind of have to pick it up. I like that you pick up on it later, like where you did right now.
And so but with us, man, you have. I guess you do have that story come in full circle where you figure out that Adelaide is red, and that's really the resolution, and that's all you really need. What's that?
Did you pick up on that? I picked up on it at the end with the twist. I didn't pick up on it in between the movie. I never caught on.
Oh God, no. I thought that she. Whenever I remember first watching this, and I was just like, it shows that they switched, and I was just like, whoa, like. No, I did not pick up that.
The Stephen Root character, Jim Hudson, when he says this line, and I thought this was beautiful. I like to maybe this be a good way for us to end this. He goes, "One day you're working in a dark room." He's a photographer. One day you're working in a dark room, and the next you wake up in the dark. Wow, poetry, man. He's right. He's like it's you know, uh, that's very that character too. You don't feel like he wants anything from you, but he wants everything from you. I mean, he just wants your eyes, but that's the main thing he needs.
Yeah, and well, and it's not even, it's his eyes. It's so he can see again, but he also wants to have that talent, man. And that was another thing too, is they were picking talented people.
Yes.
Whenever Rod's looking through the internet, it says, local jazz musician goes missing,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's not they're still picking extraordinary people in their eyes. Like that's who they want. And
Yeah.
you almost wonder if I don't know. I don't know if like I said, Jim Hudson knew of him. So was he the one who suggested, like, or
Dating
was
him?
Rose?
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
or,
That's what I'm
or
saying.
is Rose just like going through? Does she have a list of people like, okay, these are people we're picking from, and then
But also he's also the first one at the auction. So I feel like I think we've figured that out, that it's that Jim didn't really go for Chris, but the fact that Chris is there and that's why Jim's there.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's what the main thing is. Yeah, dude, a solid 12 and a solid 11 out of 13. I think we did well in this one. I want to say by far was one of my favorite experiences as an adult watching movies, because it really is really like I said, man, my first three lines for Get Out are totally forgot this was a horror film. Great camera track to bring the bad guy in, and then I walk like that guy. A car was following me. Like it made me feel like a little bit more that could happen to me, that could happen to you, and just the fact that I had to write an exclamation, explaining that I'm unfamiliar with just that kind of topic of racism. I feel like I don't believe in it, and I know it exists, but I feel like if you constantly talking about it and you get stuck in that little world, I'm just like just like someone
almost kind of breathing it into existence, kind of thing.
I don't like thinking about it, and I think because also too, I'm also, like I said, I'm more on classism. So I've had some people, because like I'm from Texas, and they always say people, why is it when they do a person with like can you do a racist accent? How's a racist sound?
Oh, racist gonna sound like this right here, boy.
Why do they always go south? Why racists are all over the place?
They are, but
They're all over the place. Why?
Well, it's because we say boy. That's why we and the South will rise again. That's why you go Southern, is because that was the Confederate States, dude.
You sound like the from Family Guy, like the rock. They do one like that. He's like, and the South will rise again.
Yeah.
I guess you're right though. There are parts. I guess Texas is like the modern part of this part. I don't know, because
it's not even. I really don't even consider Texas part of the South. Like it's its own thing. Like if I think of like the South, I'm thinking of like
Georgia,
Louisiana,
Florida,
Mississippi, Alabama. Yeah. Like Alabama is the South.
Well, and I'm from Southwest Texas, so I'm big on Southwest. Like it's easy for me to just slide. That's why I know exactly where I'm from. So that's why I say, like, because they a lot of people always think that you sound like this, you're racist redneck, and I'm like, no, like, okay. But I will say, when I have had someone that is I have had someone from West Texas try to pick on me, just being Mexican, and the group of guys I was with, one guy was from the border that I knew, so we're hanging out, and the guy's like, man, your friend's got some big cojones there. He don't everything I get him don't phase him. And I just look at him and I go, dude, you're missing like 4 of your teeth right here. Why would I even feel bad about you talking bad about me? Like you don't even have like teeth. Like I feel good. And that is very rude of me to say, but if someone was offended, I could easily get offended, but I don't. I'm just like, oh, dude, you could say whatever if you have that whisper every time you have to talk, yeah, go for it. You have a country whisper because you're free, because you're goofy. Yeah, you could go for it, dude. Like, dude, I don't care, man. You can say whatever you want. And plus, I was like a foot taller than him, so I was like, whatever, little guy, whatever you want to say. Like, say whatever you want, dude. Like, so like that's the way I handle it. I think I just also use my patented humor to just beat out your, like, I think that's all I do. I turn it on it, and I honestly think that this was a good view for me to see it, because it's like from the East Coast point of not East Coast. I guess I think that's where they're located, right? Or something over there. Or I don't know where they're located.
Santa Cruz,
Oh,
I think is LA, right?
no. Get Out.
Get Out. Oh,
I don't know where they're located.
me neither.
I thought it was like
feel-
more of the
For
like,
some reason, yeah, I would think East, like
Yeah, some-
Connecticut or something
Connecticut or
like
something
that.
like where they have like the big not plantations, but just like where they have their, well, that's what we were talking about, their tea. They sit down, like I noticed they sit down and have their little tea, and like we don't do that, like I'm thinking that that's like the rich people. So
Not here down south.
now south we don't do that. No,
We don't do that. That right there.
we do have movies. We still got one more week in October. I figure we could do one more. I reckon we can get ourselves one more side by side. Maybe
Hell, you want to do Texas Chainsaw Massacre? What are we talking?
Man, I don't know. I don't, but because you said it, we must.
No.
We'll play. We'll play this game real quick. What are you thinking of doing?
I picked these two. I'm gonna throw it on you, buddy. You were the horror guy.
Right, between us two, yeah. Right.
Between the two of us, man.
Yeah,
like
really.
I am not really.
So
I want you, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick two guilty pleasures of yourself, and then we will side by side them.
Well, I'm thinking we got to do side by side, so it's got to be some kind of connection thing. And we're probably like, I think episode 10 in by now, and I haven't picked this director because it's personal things. But I will say that he did do two movies that I really like, and I think it's about time we talk about him since we are based out of Austin, Texas. I got to show a little bit of respect.
Oh, was it Robert Rodriguez?
It is Robert Rodriguez.
From Dusk Till Dawn, I know it's going to be one of them.
Dusk Till Dawn and The Faculty. Two of my favorite horror movies, but I would just say about I admire your work, Robert Rodriguez. Just everything after 2000 kind of doesn't fit for me, but I understand where you're going and stuff with what you did. But
no, let me double check. I think I watched one of his more recent movies. Was it Alita Battle Angel?
Yeah,
Did he do that? I thoroughly enjoyed that movie, honestly.
I mean, I heard bad things, but I gotta watch it. So I don't know. It's up to me.
I mean, it's a good, solid movie. I mean, I think if it was based off of anime or what is it, manga?
Yeah.
Whatever that is,
manga.
People probably had their reservations about it, which I think it probably is. But dude, I enjoyed it.
I'll take your side by side on that. I'm gonna watch it. Like I said, I watch it with my open view. But I mean, I picked that one. If you want to do anything else, we do have some horror we can pick. I like that. I think we should with Robert Rodriguez, but I don't want to just limit that unless there's other things you're thinking about. Because I did like that. I saw just recently saw two new movies that I hadn't seen, but I'm down with that. I really love The Faculty. I do. Man, see, I'm open now. I'm open to like new things. It's like we watch older movies, but I don't mind. I don't mind getting retouched. I haven't seen Dusk Till Dawn in a minute, and there are some things I can catch up on that. And then Faculty, I haven't seen in a minute, but I know the movie's kind of straightforward. But I love.
Yeah, but that's what I love about like the ones that we've seen and it's been a minute. Like we can go back and rewatch them, and we can put that hat on, like that's you said. True. Like with these two movies, for one, I've been really wanting to see Get Out, and it's like I said, I kind of pushed us in that direction, which I'm really glad we did. And I think that every once in a while we should have some movies that we haven't seen, and really. That way we can. It's fresh. It's fun, and it's not based on nostalgia or anything like that. It's strictly based on wow, that was a good movie, or wow, I didn't like that movie.
And I think we usually do some kind of research. We kind of fondle around and see what we're getting. And but I think it's because I think we're trying to get at least trying to get a little theme in about Halloween and October. And this is one of my special months of the year. It's my second favorite because of Halloween. And March is my first because of my birthday. But I'll tell you this, like I think as we've been going and people have been hearing us what we get to where we get, it's organic. We're not trying to plant any seeds and then say where they go. We're just doing it now. But if we do happen to find down the road where we can find some because there are some side-by-sides I've been thinking that we should do that I just think off the top of my head. And maybe it's not a side-by-side, maybe it's something else, but I like that it's okay for us. Because I do like that we went in with Jordan Peele's to his works. And I did watch Get Out this morning, and I watched Us, started like at 8 o'clock. But Because I've been saying on the podcast, as you got to watch horror movies at night, and I watch one during the day. But I think it works out. I think Get Out has enough day scenes that it makes sense to watch. It's okay to watch during the day. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do Robert Rodriguez.
I
know. I mean, this is a personal one for me, so we're gonna definitely see how I go with that. Yeah, I think I'm pretty. There's a tons of things you can talk about these two movies, Get Out and Us, and a lot of these movies. And it's just what we're kind of breaking down. I think we're understanding more or less what we're doing, and as we're going, and we're getting the concept of how we just get some topics out of this stuff, and it's cool to, like we said, we're just here talking, and I like the fact that us two are just doing our conversation, and Get Out gets that, and also too, Jordan Peele understands that it's just conversating. People just have conversations, and well, hopefully you're learning something just like we are. I guess it's time for us to sign out. So next week we're doing Robert Rodriguez, Dusk Till Dawn, and The Faculty. So
and also, if you're watching this and you have any comments or any takes on these movies, we would love to hear that too. That's one thing we're here for too, is to have, like you said, to have conversations. And so feel free to throw your comments in there, good or bad. We like it all. I mean, honestly, like I love it. I want to hear what people have to think and have to say about things and movies, and especially our take on them, So
we are signing out now. Well, I'm CJ Robles,
and I am Ben Garrett,
and this is Side by Side, and we'll see y'all later.
You have a wonderful evening, guys.
Peace.